afternoon, good evening, everybody. I think you all know what we're here to do, so we're going to skip a lot of the formalities. But today we have guests. That's right, not the normal traditional three-man panelists that you've come to know and love or hate, depending on who you are. But hello, tell us who you are and why you're here, starting from left to right. So we'll start off with you. Cardis, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm quite fine, but this isn't about me. Tell the people what you like to do, what brings you here, and, how we met. Don't do all that. Just keep it snappy, brother.
That may take a while. Basically, I know things about Sonic, so I guess that's why I'm here.
I mean, that is a brilliant. I love it. I love it. You love to hear it. Grade A introduction. Go. That's why he's here. He's on the panel. He knows how to keep it concise. How about you, Sir Lumen? I heard you were knighted by Elizabeth herself.
Sure.
Why are you here?
Because I was knighted by Queen Elizabeth herself. Needed to keep track of the colonials, you see.
So not only does this panelist have diplomatic immunity, he is better than you by default. Then you have
quite right.
Then you have myself, and then you have that other guy over there named Sora. But then we have the MVP, Senor Joe.
I'm traumatized.
And that is what we've come to expect from Joe. But anyways, today we're here to talk about a little bit. I was going to say little Billy. Little blue furry creature known as Sonic the Hedgehog, who, by the way, he's getting a sequel movie in about 2 months. That's movies happening with or without you. They even dragged Idris Elba into it. But we're talking about the modern era and the state of that game series, mates. Because, let's face it started off okay. I was never the biggest fan of classic Sonic, but look, Sonic 1, it gave you a nice foundation to work with. Sonic 2 decided it was going to not only embellish, but it was going to improve upon all the good things from the first game and cut out a lot of the things that may not necessarily need to be there, and gave you this innovative little mechanic called the Spin Dash, which allows you to smooth and groove through stages with the greatest of ease, allowing for more techniques and things of that nature to further be expanded upon in later games like Sonic 3. Obviously, you have Sonic CD that even had the little Tweedle feet. What was it called again? It's not Spin Dash. Peel out. There you go.
Out, yeah.
I call it Tweedle feet. That's what I've always called it. I didn't know the official terminology. I didn't read the enclosed instruction booklet. My bad, y'all. Sorry. I know some of y'all are probably younger viewers and don't know what an enclosed instruction booklet is, but trust me, it saved lives. That's the only reason why many of us know even half the advanced techniques in Super Metroid, but I digress. So, yeah, classic Sonic did a lot of things where it built upon itself, moved forward, and the gameplay and mechanics began to slowly expand, grow, and make a better, more fulfilling experience by the time you got to Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic as Knuckles itself. But
we're not here to talk about classic.
We're not here to talk about the good times. Rest assured. We're here to talk about pain, suffering, and what I like to call the Sonic tax. AKA, you give a little bit of your soul every time you boot up one of these games. Because somehow, some way, you find a way to drag yourself right into the Shadow Realm with only yourself to blame. So, let's start off first with taking us to 98? When a Sonic Adventure hit everybody's Dreamcast, and
Oof.
we're fossils, guys. We're old. It's okay. Every time I think about trust me, fam. I don't want to say it. All I know is this: our kneecaps are not going to work in 2 years. Okay, we're all going to be in like these weird bionic legs. We're going to be Star Fox characters by the end of the month, okay? Relax.
Oh, crap.
We're cutting our legs off. It's the only way to make sure circulation goes smoothly. But anywho, Sonic Adventure, who wants to open up with their feelings about what I would consider probably the top of the mountain? Because I believe it was, in fact, all downhill from there, but we'll get there. So who wants to start?
Oh, God, where do we start?
I mean, well, it's the first game in 3D, and I'd say they probably did a better job translating 2D Sonic into 3D Sonic than per se 2D Mario into 3D Mario, because 2D Mario and 3D Mario are two vastly different beasts. You got your linear point A to point B, while in 3D Mario you got this like kind of sandbox. You got different missions, you got a lot less levels in general. And I love Mario 64. I think that game's really great. And I like Sonic Adventure 1. I actually really, and as we were established, for the most part, kind of went down from here. And no Adventure 1 felt like an adventure because, unlike a equivalent Mario game, this had voice acting, extreme music, and adventure field. You get to go explore different locales and stuff. If you look kind of at the development, they went to different locations, like in Central and South America, took pictures, did research. There was a lot of real world inspiration to the game, and you really see that.
It sort of applies more to with Sonic Adventure 2 with this comment, but it started feeling like this is the start of where games was sort of looking at cinema, because now we have 3D camera angles and all the shit we can do. So it's kind of action movie slightly, but again, that is way more like Adventure 2. But I feel like that's where this started.
And it's funny, people like to make fun of the facial animation in Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to when you won't look at it today. But also bear in mind, this game came out just a few months after Metal Gear Solid 1.
Where
And
we're moving
that
heads.
that game had no facial animation whatsoever.
Can you imagine Metal Gear Solid? Like, can you imagine Metal Gear Solid with Sonic Adventure 1 style facial animations?
I don't know if that would help improve the story or make it worse. I'm not sure. Look, the sad Amy face in both games is tier 1. It's tier, okay, that is a great face, worthy of a screenshot.
Like say whatever you will about the facial animations, they're legendary. They've given us so many gifts.
Oh yes.
And it's like I'd criticize them more because I've seen games near that era do better, but everything I think of is after SA1. Like, the best example I can think of is like Vagrant Story. No one played that game, but Jesus Christ, the cutscenes are beautiful in a PS1 game. But that was 2 years after. Like, this is 98.
Yeah, like I said, there was no real order of operations that was set in stone on how to do this at the time, because everything else was 2D or, hey guys, we're just winging and throwing stuff at a dartboard too. All right, guys.
I think in terms of like kind of talking and animation stuff like that, I think probably one of the better examples of that era was like Conker's Bad Fur Day on the Nintendo 64. Because I feel like those are actually pretty well animated, and that game did have voice acting, which was actually really interesting for a 64 game, that they were able to actually fit quite a bit of voice dialogue into it.
Again, 2001.
Was that 2001?
Yep.
Shit. Okay. Well,
I mean, I get your point. Like, you didn't really see that on a cartridge, but at the same time,
yeah, I don't know why I thought that came out a little earlier. Okay, well then you can also compare that to like, well, now we're once again advancing further, Adventure 2, where they refined it. So I mean, I guess barring that, for Adventure 1, yeah, there was a lot of like, we don't know how to do this, and I think they're really trying to go for like very expressive, but obviously, especially in modern times, it looks very, very.
He's gonna crash. Ah!
Oh, what am I gonna do with you? And it's like, come on, bro. Your man's just died. Your man's just died, bro.
Yeah, and even in terms of like video game voice acting was like pretty mediocre for most games, especially at that time. I mean, a couple years prior, I mean, on the 64 you had Star Fox, which I love Star Fox. We can't deny that. But yeah,
that same year had StarCraft, which had a lot of voice acting.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. It's like, I guess definitely different budgets for voice acting. People would like developers and publishers would invest, and yeah, obviously Sega's like, let's go more cartoony, and it's like I feel like there's a little disconnect with what exactly they're trying to do. I mean, I guess if you listen to it in Japanese, a lot of people would say the Japanese audio track's a lot better, and I think most people agree with that.
Probably.
But obviously the English track is very iconic, because that's essentially what we all listen to when we play through it.
Hey, yo, that Eggman needs to be paid more money. I understand. Rest in peace. He's no longer with us. But that man, whatever he was paid, it wasn't enough. Tell you that right now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be bold. I would say that goes for both adventure games. Both of those Eggmen were not paid enough.
Fucking
Adventure 1 and 2 were the same guy.
He wasn't paid enough.
No, he did an excellent job, and he actually could nail down the menacing Eggman. You know, I feel like, well, no, current actor does a really good job. I mean, I feel like they don't really allow him to really get too menacing anymore.
Oh no, that's just Sonic stories in general.
Yeah,
like, they are steering
Yep.
clear of any attempt to do a serious story like they did in Adventure and Adventure 2. Like they want to keep it nice and kiddie and wacky. Yeah.
Because look, I know we're giving Sonic Adventure 1 its flowers a little bit here, but I gotta say, in Adventure 2, Eggman has the best line in the entire game to me. And some of y'all may not know what that line is, but there's a part where Eggman's basically saying GG's to Sonic because he just blew him up in space. And then Tails is going on through this, Sonic, I can do this. And Eggman just, you can hear it. Underneath Tails' voice, you hear, huh? Like he was mad that this man was having a midlife crisis during his pop-off monologue. I don't know. There's something about that scene is just chef's kiss to me. But bringing it back to Adventure, we got to talk about the gameplay. And look, we already know that the camera is the true final boss of the game. All right, everybody knows this. I don't think anyone's really going to dispute this because that camera will fight you. That camera is a demon.
That really goes back to like, this was their first time doing it. It was the first time, you know, a lot of companies were trying to get their cameras down, and Sonic has especially had difficulties with it for a long while too. Like this wasn't an Adventure 1 problem, Adventure 2 problem. Like it was a while until they got like a pretty decent camera. And even then, it still has issues.
And I think it's kind of tough because you gotta remember, this is a game that's based on an IP about a character that goes 1,000 miles per hour. Like that man is breaking the speed and sound barrier. He's doing everything he can to go fast. So you would need a camera that could help compensate that. Most of these other games that had bad cameras back in that same era were on very slow pace, grounded, center to earth, move forward every now and then platformers. They didn't have spin dashes going up walls. They didn't have offset angles. They weren't doing all this type of crazy gliding around and going through boosters. It wasn't necessarily something that a lot of people had experience with at the time. And I think for especially that era, their camera could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Oh, you put it like that.
I mean, let's face it. Would you really want to go through Emerald Coast if like every subsection piece had Resident Evil cam?
No,
I'm pretty sure the game is unplayable if you do that.
Sonic tank controls.
Sonic. Oh, at that point, you've got Sonic Labyrinth. You've got Sonic Labyrinth.
Labyrinth 3D. Is that what you want?
Just slow him down.
Sonic, I'm going to take away your shoes and give you slow shoes.
He has never had a plan that was more foolproof than that one. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Once that plan didn't work and he couldn't beat him with mean beans, he should have just packed it up. Like he's just.
I mean, hell, Sega themselves, they didn't have a more foolproof plan than that. Okay, we need a new Sonic game. What do we do? Okay, so you know Sonic goes fast, right? He goes fast. What if he went slow?
Hire that man. Hire that man.
Make it part of the story, so that'll explain why.
Yeah. It's
Sega hired this man.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Adventure did a lot of bold things because it tackled a lot of different gameplay elements that a lot of the series afterwards didn't even do as well as the first outing, which is shocking to me. Like, for example, the Sonic stages, I would say for the most part, each one of them is a hit. I mean, if any of you guys have anything that you want to say about a specific stage in particular, I can 100%, give you the floor if you want to say, hey, I don't think this stage is that great. But I feel like all the stages had a point. Not only did they actually have an interesting gimmick here and there. Well, okay, there is one stage, Casinopolis. All right, I'll put.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Sora's chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like casino games, that's a cool stage. If you don't like casino games, you're not going to have a good time.
And by casino games, we mean pinball. All right, do not get it twisted.
Kind of a slow pinball game.
like I don't know. In every Sonic game, well, almost every Sonic game, I've liked the casino levels, not necessarily because of the pinball. That was always tedious to navigate in every game. But I just liked the theme. Like, I
the
liked
aesthetic.
the general. Yeah, it was a fun idea, and they've had it pretty consistently. But they've also been consistently tedious. One of the levels in Sonic Adventure 2, in SA1 that comes to mind for me that I didn't care for was the ice cap level.
Yeah. Very mid.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing about the ice cap level is like you could break it in like 2 or 3 ways by spin dashing at the very beginning and just skipping to the end. But like on your first playthrough, it's just like a bunch of, all right, I'm bored. We're slowly going through this creep. And I've seen this happen on several people's first playthroughs. I even seen it on Sora's most recent playthrough when he was streaming it. When you hit that switch and the ice bridge comes on, and the first few tiles go away because the camera was fighting you, so by the time you turned around, the ice is disappearing and you can't make it, you gotta wait for like 15 to 20 seconds for the ice bridge to fully fall before you can hit that switch again. And, oh, that's rough, buddy.
That was ass.
That was just kind of rough, buddy.
Oh, man, snowboard.
But once again, you get to the snowboard scene and it's like, oh, it's all forgiven. No, not quite. But you got to admit, you got to put yourself back into like 8-year-old Timmy shoes back when it was 1999, 2000, whenever you got the game.
It was fucking rad.
When the ships are exploding stuff, I don't even know if those ships can even ever actually hit you. Because I've never been hit by them. I'm sure you could try to get hit by them and you'll get hit. But I have never actually been hit by those drone strikes. But that was some fajita content when my eyes first laid upon it.
Yeah, I don't think we can get hit by those now. I think it's just to be a cool set piece. And it's a cool set piece, especially for that time.
The game is full of a lot of cool set pieces. Yeah.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the song that's playing while it's happening is pretty much a banger. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, that's one thing I guess we could give it to Sonic Adventure, especially, is like there's a lot of good music. And each character
slaps.
And each character has their own theme. Some are definitely better than others, but
I mean,
Amy Rose wants to shave it. I don't even know what she's talking about, but she wants to shave it. She's got it, brother.
Papaya.
Like even the iffy ones are still kind of toe tappy. You know, I can't help it.
Yeah.
But it's just to very quickly go back to set pieces. The Sonic running down the building will always have a special place in my heart. Like it's always
highway stage.
Oh, Speed Highway. Yeah.
It's always that stayed with me.
And they tried to true, but they tried to divvy up a lot of the gameplay styles because other characters had very different roles to facilitate. For example, you have the treasure hunting stages with Knuckles, and if you are fully versed with the mechanics of that game, those stages take you like 45 seconds. Like they are not very expansive. They don't even do that much. It almost feels like a few of them are just busy work. Outside of his sky deck, which I thought was a nice, interesting gimmick, if you can grab the Switch, because grabbing items in Sonic Adventure, not the most seamless experience. You think you just walk up to the item, push button. No, sir. No, ma'am. Sometimes you got to have a talk with God. You got to come to Jesus meeting with him. And then you got to say, Satan, am I allowed to grab the item before you grab that item in order to take it to the next place? Now, they did something kind of interesting because they had these adventure fields where you could talk to NPCs and NPCs can give you clues on where to go. But obviously, when you're an adult and you're playing these games, like it's very obvious what you need to do because it's either set in a previous cutscene. But let's say you had to stop playing and you came back and you didn't have to call on hand and you didn't know where she was spawning at. You could talk to NPCs and they would give you tips. And that, this was nice to see they were trying to bring the overworld some life, some subtext, trying to bring you some world building. I know, right? Weird that we're talking
flavor. I mean, I like flavor. I'm going to go run out into an RPG game. I'm going to talk to all the NPCs to learn about the going-ons. I like that stuff.
Yeah, giving you some flavor text. Now, that flavor text and those mechanics have not aged well by any means.
Yeah, no, it's not crazy.
But it was definitely interesting to know that there was various secrets hidden around the vast overworlds of, City Square, Station Square, and the Egg Carrier, and obviously the Mystic Ruins. And I'm sorry, the Mystic Ruins has it's been ruined for me due to Joe and Sora's interpretation of those lyrics. would you like to tell them what you think that song? Because I swear I can't hear it, but they swear that they're not saying "Who's that?" They hear Jimmy. And I don't know, man. I've been trying to hold my headsets and my earbuds deep into my inner ear, and I don't hear no J syllable at all. I'm sorry, guys. But the other thing I want to talk about is when you talk about the gamma sections, obviously they're just shooting galleries. Hold forward, hold down your gun. Not really much to them. However, we will say his story is probably one of the best told stories in the game.
Easily.
Yep.
And probably one of the best told stories that we've had in the history of the 3D modern Sonic era. I know. His story from a story beat perspective, and some of the angles they chose for some of the cinematography to frame some of his scenes were actually kind of banger, but that's a way above the pay grade of what this podcast needs to be talking about, all right? We can get into the cinematography debate all day, but we'll hold off on it for another time. But that thing did break some new ground.
Also, his stages are usually nothing, but damn, did I forget how fucking good that last stage is.
Yeah,
I wish they were all like that.
His Windy Valley was all right. Everything else was kind of I guess. And then Hot Shelter was a banger. If all of his stages had the level of detail and control and, putting the use to all of his abilities that the Hot Shelter had, and you did that for the other 3 stages of the game, then by all means, he would have had a top tier all around gameplay session. But other than that, he's on the upper echelon of mid. That's about all he kind of ranks as.
Yep.
Obviously, you have Amy, and Amy, that is very polarizing. Some of us are just it's a little nice little romp through a quote-unquote survival horror type element thing, and I think Twinkle Park does a good job at that, but I think every other stage is a bit lacking, or it falls into the level of tedium. For example, her Hot Shelter, pick up box, put colored box on colored floor, do it again. Those are about the 2 main obstacles that she has there. Her final egg isn't that bad, but ultimately it's fine. I thought it was harmless. I know some people on this panel do not agree.
Survival horror, you say?
Now I did the biggest air quotes, but I'm not on camera, so I can't really emphasize that enough. But as you know,
it just feels like slow Sonic stages because you can just bat him away with your hammer. He's not a threat. If you couldn't do that, and Amy had a little bit more movement options, and he could just grab your ass and you'd be done, then I'd actually maybe like it a bit more.
If there wasn't a ring mechanic, it was just don't get grabbed, because if you get grabbed, or you could get grabbed twice, but the third time it's just auto lose. Something like that.
Dread.
Oh Lord.
So they didn't want to make it too annoying and difficult. That's the only reason I could think that, or they just didn't think.
So once again, I could see that being a little little bit of a filler character story. But ultimately, when you deal with Tails, it's just Sonic plus flying mechanics. That's about it. However, I do believe that Tails' story was one worth telling, especially the whole thing with he's gonna shoot a missile at Station Square. What's a dud? Now you got to do that. Now, I don't know if anyone.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You were talking about Eggman's voice actor and Tails' story specifically. I remember him so dejected before the Eggwalker fight, and he's talking to Tails, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here before I kill you." And I was like, "Jesus Christ, Eggman!"
Hey man, that Eggman was about that action, sir. He was not. That man was not afraid of catching a murder charge. Bro.
I forget sometimes that Adventure Eggman had some dark moments. All I'm remembering, and I'm pretty sure most people remember, is just the goofy lines. Just all systems, full power.
Let's see if you can make it through here, Sonic. And he just starts flailing like I don't know what he's doing there.
Get a load of this.
But for
memes.
every one of the,
Talk over my head.
oh, go ahead.
Just speaking of what Eggman does, I didn't really think about it too much, but when you think about the classic games, there's like kind of this implication, I guess, that there's only animals and Eggman's the only human. But then you bring them into a human world where there are humans and there's governments and police and military, this and that. Like, Eggman must be like the most wanted man on the entire planet. And
like the
they're
most
not-
wealthy.
They're not watching him hard enough. I'm gonna tell you that right
they're
now.
not. They're not at all. And that's the thing. It's like this dude literally, like, at least eventually he launches a missile into the sea. Like, who knows how many people he was about to kill if that thing actually went off.
Robotnik is just Elon Musk.
and then you have the whole chaos situation where it's like, yeah, he didn't do it directly, but he did get chaos to allow him to do the thing where he basically destroys the entire city. Like, it doesn't matter if everyone survived. Like, the amount of flood damage he did to the city would be like outrageous, billions of dollars worth of damage.
Not
Like,
just flood damage, but like I forgot with when chaos is fully unleashed, people, hundreds, thousands of people must have fucking died. Like, holy
No.
shit, this city gets fucked.
no,
That's
yeah, I was
fine.
just saying this is considering if everyone survived, but I doubt, extreme doubt, like there's people who can't swim, man. The thing all of a sudden floods. It's like, nah, you ain't
It's
survived
fine.
that.
It's fine. They all went to the rooftops because you remember you heard them all shouting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sonic.
Sonic, you
Sonic.
did it! Woo!
Yeah.
Where
It
am
was
I
fine.
gonna live? I ain't figured that
Yeah.
out yet, but go Sonic!
Yes.
I don't have insurance.
And then you go to like, we're gonna skip ahead back to Adventure 2. Then it's the whole thing like, yeah, I was gonna go blow up half the moon. I'm gonna use this cannon to destroy the entire Earth unless you give me what I want. It's like, nah, fam. It's just like, damn. It's like just all the things he's done. He's like, they're not doing anything to him. They really aren't.
But when it comes to adventure, I gotta say, like, playing through it recently with the randomizer, watching Sora play through it in a vanilla state, I gotta be honest with you. The bosses in that game range from very, very nice to, oh my god, why does this even exist? Why are you wasting my time?
Oh no.
At least they're not totally infuriating.
Yeah, they
Wait,
usually
wait.
last only like a minute if they are shit.
Exactly.
Or 10
I-
seconds if it's Knuckles.
Like,
also,
oh, no.
I noticed. I noticed we haven't spoken about Sega Bass Fishing.
Oh, the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come
wrong
out here and
animal,
say
Sora.
Fuck.
I like that segment. I like Big.
Hey, look, I
Get the
have a-
fuck out
look,
of this call.
whoa. I have an implicit bias, all right, as a grandmaster fisherman who played Sega Marine Fishing on the very same console, the Sega Dreamcast. Catching Froggy was not a problem to me. I had no idea how much havoc that storyline was wreaking on the general populace at large.
No, I remember. I got really annoyed. Keep reading that. Like, oh, Big the Cat section is too difficult. It's like, this is not difficult. In fact, I think you may remember that.
Why is your mocking voice like the same voice that Sedusa and Powerpuff Girls was usually like, Professor, the Powerpuff Girls were beating me up.
Big stage is too hard.
Oh,
That's
big.
a coincidence.
Oh god, no.
Big is too hard.
Oh
No,
no.
Everest, Big's rod just doesn't work.
Well, that's
done.
two things here
Yeah.
that won't work.
Like,
You know, when-
I don't agree that. Sorry, I don't agree that it's hard or anything. It's just annoying. My main thing is you can even like fishing and whatnot. Why the fuck is it here? Just no. If I want to play fishing, I'll play Sega Bass Fishing or whatever the hell.
It is an interesting choice. Like I said, like, gameplay is whatever.
Like, and he has one of the
story and
shortest
character.
stories too. Like, one time to be petty, after I heard everyone complain, I started up Adventure, played through Sonic to Unlock Big, and then immediately switched to Big. It's like, here, guys, let me show you how it's done. And you can beat Big story in less than half an hour. It is not hard. You don't have to go bar find his rods or his lures or any of that stuff. You can blast through it pretty quickly. It's not a particularly hard section. That was actually after I hadn't played it for years too. That was relatively fresh off of it because yeah, despite me liking Big, I don't go back and replay a section. Let's be real. If I'm gonna replay, I'm gonna play like Sonic or Tails.
So I'm curious, what is it about Big you like?
I mean, he's just a different kind of character in Sonic. I mean, he's like he just wants to live his life. Like he is
hold
only
up, hold
100%
up.
smokes weed.
Hold up. I'm gonna stop the cap. I'm tired. Cardis, I can't allow you to cap like this. Sorry, man. I gotta expose you. This is a man who likes cats and frogs. What you know, those are two of his favorite animals all time.
I was going to get into that, but okay, just advance what I was going to say. But I mean, in terms of actual characterization, no, there's plenty of like strictly frog and cat characters I don't like. But in this case, yes, I do like frogs and cats. But this character just to be put into a Sonic world, and it's like Bailey, he's only there by circumstance. He's like, if none of this stuff happened to him, he wouldn't have been in the game. He hasn't been in the game a long time because there's no reason for him to be now. But just that he wants to relax and enjoy his life. I mean, that's something everyone wants to strive for. He's actually like Sonic in that way.
He's the antithesis.
Like Sonic is like, I just want to be free. But of course, Eggman always stands in the way of that freedom. So Sonic has to do something about it. But Big is like, I want to be free. But Eggman ain't bothering me. I'm just going to hang out with my buddy, fish, and enjoy my life.
Look,
Sonic Adventure. Oh, go ahead.
We all know the real reason everybody loves Big the Cat. It's my man, John St. John, given the performance of a generation. Performance of a lifetime.
That's great too.
Froggy,
Dookie Nookie on the mic.
I had no idea, so hard to the point that I ignored you multiple times when you said it. My brain didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, because I was just like, yeah, Son St. John's doing a great performance. Then Joe said it. He's like, uh-huh. He acknowledged us both by saying, uh-huh. Wait. Gears start turning. You're lying. But yeah.
I'm really surprised to hear that.
But yeah, Adventure, all in all, once again, it was a very interesting first outing. They did a lot of things right. They did a lot of things where you may have shaken your head and you were a little bit skeptical, but at the same time, they didn't do anything where the bed just fell under and everything just started sinking and you need to man the lifeboats because it's going under fast, all right? Like, we never really ran into anything like that. But at the same time, I do believe from a story beat perspective, all the stories were told in a way that was cohesive, easy to digest. And for the most part, you felt that the motivations of the characters were clear and you were like, all right, I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a great time. Hell, even though you may not like Big's gameplay, the fact that man just said, I don't know how to fly a plane, but I'm going to fly this plane because I just want to go home and chill with the homie. That's a level of dedication to a friendship that I haven't seen in years.
Like, this game doesn't hit it out of the park, but it's walked up to base. And it's just okay, we set a standard. It's only up from here. Yeah, it hit a double. It didn't hit a home run, but it hit a double.
I think, pretty decent. I think we just need to think about, though, like, how was it at the time? And I guess in retrospect, because at the time, I think it was a pretty mind-blowing game.
Yeah.
Especially for the Dreamcast. But yeah, no, in retrospect, it's like, I think it's still a solid game. I think it's a great, it was a very promising start to what we believe would be the Sonic 3D standard going forward.
Yeah, I would say even ignoring the at the time context, just if you were looking at SA1 in a vacuum, it's a decent, goofy, just good little game all around. I don't know if anybody else.
I was gonna say, which brings us to everything's gonna be all right, huh?
All's well that
ends well. It can only get better with iteration, right?
Oh yeah. It gets better from here.
Which brings us to Adventure 2. And look, I'm gonna just start off. I'll be the villain on this one, guys. For all of you out there who have been telling me that Adventure 2 is the greatest pinnacle of Sonic the Hedgehog in the modern era, I gotta ask, who's your dealer? Because I want him arrested. Because whatever he's giving y'all, it's too powerful. It's too strong. You need to be.
I remember weeks ago when we were talking about this subject already. That was when I was still an SA2 apologist. I'm outing myself. Like
because you would say things, and I'm like, are you sure you're remembering this how you think it went? Because I'm pretty sure if you played it, you would be like, I'm sorry. I apologize for my
It's
outburst.
crazy.
This brother has lost his composure.
It's crazy. Like,
But he didn't play it. He made me play it.
So, how did you feel?
Oh God.
Keep in mind, this was Joe's very first play. He's never played this game before, so we are getting fresh eyes. We did not tell him our opinions of the game before he played it. He went in there raw. We just were in there reacting in the background to some of the nonsense and chicanery that took place. So, Joe, this is yours. Tell us about your playthrough of Adventure 2.
Okay, so I played Sonic Adventure 1 like back in 99, 2000, somewhere around there. And I love that game. And then I didn't play Sonic Adventure 2 for whatever reason, just never got around to it until like a week ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Decades passed.
Yeah, it feels
Adventure
like
2 in 2022.
I've aged 20 years. It's like a fever dream, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a weird game, especially when you play it or see it back to back with the first one.
I
took out the adventure.
I completely forgot how disjointed that story is.
Like, say what you will about the adventure fields in Sonic Adventure 1, whether you like them or not, but at least they ground the game. And like, you know, it's not quite like Half-Life. You're taking every step of the way in your character's shoes, but you do feel how the world relates to itself. Like, different areas are connected. You don't get that sense at all in Sonic Adventure 2.
Because in Adventure 2, you go from if you're looking at the hero story, you go from being out in the desert in which you see Eggman just like, oh, the Master Emerald? I mean, I wasn't really looking for it, but I guess I'll help myself. And Knuckles is right there. And Knuckles' 10 million IQ idea isn't beat up Eggman. It isn't detach the claw. It isn't, you know, do that thing where you make the Master Emerald small enough to fit in your hand like you do later on in the very same story. It just makes it so the claw can't grab it. Like, my man had a multiple choice test worth of options in order to circumvent this problem. But his 10 million IQ play was, I'm going to just shatter the emerald. Yep. And
Why was he even there with the Master Emerald? Why the fuck were they there?
Because he wasn't at the altar. But but it seemed like the implication was Rouge stole it. And that's why Knuckles was angry at her, because she's a jewel thief. But Eggman just so happened to also be in the area for whatever reason.
Yoink.
Could they not have Rouge or Eggman break it? You know, like, if I can't have it, no one can.
Yeah, like, can Rouge like control the size of the Master Emerald too? Because how did she steal it? She didn't just like grab this giant ass emerald. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
I mean, maybe it was in Knuckles' pocket for him at the time. You never know.
He just didn't change it back.
He just had to change it back. But the other thing... go on.
Go ahead. All right. It's crazy to me, because I was a huge fan of SA2. Loved SA2 back in the day when it came out. So, you know, I thought it was better than SA1 at the time, you know. I still loved SA1, but it's like, oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 2. This is the good one. This is the sequel. It's like, great. It's awesome. Great story, great characters. Everything is really fun to play. I replayed the game when they released the HD version of the game on the 360 and PlayStation. I forget when that was. It was like 2015 or something. And thereabouts. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Sonic Adventure 2. I love that game. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Bought it. Played the Sonic stage. Like, yeah, City Escape. Great. As soon as I got to Tails' stage, like, what the fuck? No.
See, that's the best thing. That is the best thing, because I feel like City Escape... okay, City Escape, the song from Pumpkin Hill, and like arguably Meteor Herd. Crazy Gadget, and yeah, I'm gonna just go with those 4 stages. I feel like those 4 stages have just carried this huge long resume and just carried the pile of everything else with it. Like, nah, if we're decent, the game's decent. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't understand the mind-boggling decision to take the gamma stages, dip them into some syrup, dip them into some molasses, and then just say, here you go, pal. Go out there and be somebody. Now that the game has been neutered, simplified, and made even slower and more monotonous. And a lot of it is busy work because like Gamma has problems, sure.
But he has so much movement.
Yeah, he has movement, he has mode change.
I hope you like beeping noises.
The story is actually good.
Yeah, you had options in terms of, you know, how you wanted to go about it. Did you want to just hover through anything? Did you want to run through it and roll through it? And with Eggman and Tails as counterpart stages, they're just slower, very, very dry, not really too much to them versions of those stages, to the point to where you don't even really appreciate any of the stages, especially when half of them consist of get on elevator. Elevator locks you into place. Spin the stick and hold the B button.
And then just hearing Yosh.
There's like one good stage between.
And Tails, it's the one where you get your movement back, right? Cosmic Wall?
Yep.
But even then, a third of that stage is get on rail. Welcome to the shooting gallery again.
Yep.
So even then, that's painful. And then they had the infinite wisdom, and I want Joe to take us through his first outing with Death Chamber. Please. The people need to know about that Knuckles stage.
Oh, man. Oh,
can you find the keys to Eggman Base?
The hallway with the upgrade in it.
Yeah. Oh my god, that fucking hallway, man. They put time doors on either end of the hallway, so you get in there and you're like, oh shit, the door at the other end's gonna close, better hurry over there. And then you go through the hallway, you're not paying attention to the fact that there's like a wall you can destroy. And so I'm running back and forth. I don't know how long I spent in the beginning.
Oh, I remember. I remember exactly how long. 12 minutes, 47 seconds.
I was gonna say it wasn't more than like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was 12 minutes and 47 seconds.
Felt like an eternity.
Running between two rooms, and every time he ran through that hallway, I had to mute my mic because I had to laugh.
It's like Sora said, one of the biggest issues with SA2 is the levels, like, not necessarily the design itself, but the telegraphing, like the way it leads the player.
That pointlessly obscuring upgrades.
Yeah. That game is designed for you to play it again and know how it works, and then maybe it's a little bit fun.
Almost all of the power-ups, the mandatory power-ups, mind you, are hidden for some reason. They're tucked away.
And we don't know why. Hidden in the sense of like, oh, you gotta look through the pier and you gotta look over here and look at the small little differentiation like a Metroidvania, and like we're not talking about that type of hidden, but it's kind of like some of these upgrades that are required for progression are a little off the beaten path.
Hidden by the camera mostly.
Yeah. They're obscured, I should say, really. They're not like annoyingly you need to do some nonsense and access secret codes and just do some nonsense to get to them. They're just obscured. They're off to the side or behind you where you need them. It's weird. I don't know why they bothered the mandatory power-ups. I don't know why they bothered with that.
For example, the light speed dash.
Yeah.
How'd that go for you, Joe?
Yeah, it didn't I just like run off the edge or something when I first got there?
Yeah, you like assumed you already had it, and then that didn't work, and then you were like, well, fuck. So you just spent a little while looking around the platform until you saw the thing, took it up, and then grabbed the upgrade. And it's like, why is it up here?
Why is there a crane or a fucking pulley that takes you up to find the light speed dash? Why isn't it just like there? What is this at?
Because I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and look at the footage. But when you get there, doesn't the Oma Chow tell you how to use the Lightspeed dash.
Bloody
Probably.
Omo Chow.
Mhm.
Bloody Omo Chow.
Oh.
Because like, all right, say what you want about some of the tutorials in a lot of games. A lot of them can be tedious, they can be annoying, but the fact is they work. The issue in like, you know, Sonic Adventure 2 as opposed to Sonic Adventure 1. See, in Adventure 1, when Takal was talking to you, she was basically telling you where to go, what you need to do in a very direct, matter-of-fact manner.
Tikal is helpful.
Oh,
I love
Chow
Tikal.
has one of the greatest excerpts of all time.
The desert is hot!
Because Rouge's first stage, you go to the top in the little desert area, which, by the way, I'm just gonna come out and say it just in case you haven't figured it out. Dry Lagoon is just Wild Canyon but wet. That's it. That's the same stage. It's not up for debate. We're not having that conversation. Any who's and a what's it. The issue here is he went up there and it said, the desert is hot. Have you tried seeing what's in the oasis? Now keep in mind, in the desert area, there are 2 pools of water. So Joe checked both of those things. Then he decided to check the oasis at the bottom.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there. Then he decided that he killed one of the robots, but the other robot wasn't shooting him. So he was just like, well, all right, well, I guess these robots aren't necessarily hostile. So he just went searching for the other emeralds.
Yeah, we just played pranks on him, Lamau XD.
But the funniest thing about the emeralds is not a single one of the emeralds was actually in the first area. They were all in the subworld. So he tore that entire first area up, could find nothing. Couldn't find an upgrade. He saw metal boxes. He just could not navigate anything until he just went over there. It just so happened to beat up that other robot. And then the turtle just started moving. He's like, I'm sorry, what?
Omocha had me tilted, bro.
I swear,
Omocha had me fucking tilted.
I swear Omo Chow is a badnik, a non-lethal badnik. Eggman made that Chow bot.
Oh, we need to talk
What's
about
with you?
callback to previous podcast. Why the fuck are developers backtracking on game design? Why can you only search for one shard at a time?
Because for whatever reason, they decided, oh, no, man, these treasure hunting stages, they got it too good. We got to nerf them. We got to make sure that it takes a little bit longer for these players to get through these stages.
How fast you can actually, find everything.
Yeah, that's
Because you
too
can have
easy.
on multiple.
That's the thing. Those shards are physically in the level. They just track one at a time. It's
Yeah,
weird.
Joe actually found 2 of them without tracking them.
Yeah.
The first shard I ever found was one that I wasn't tracking.
And it's weird that he has to find them in a very specific order, especially because, I mean, let's face it, 3 of the emerald shards that you get in Meteor Herd for both characters were technically ones that Knuckles already had found, but got lost because they were in the cargo hold, which means you're just finding emeralds that you had already collected, which doesn't make sense why he would have to find those in order as well, but it's a gameplay mechanic because they wanted to pad the length of the game. And funnily enough, speaking of the treasure hunting stages, I think those were probably the least favorite parts for Joe because my man was battling some demons over there.
Oh my god! Like they were pain. I was clawing my way to the next cutscene at that point. Like Rouge's stages, fucking tested my patience.
What's her space stage called?
Mad Space, and boy was he mad.
Fuck that stage.
Now, the funny thing about that, so Cardis, I know we talked about this a long time ago, but when you read the phrase, because he runs into Omo Chow and he says, the readings here are reversed, right?
Yeah.
So, the very first thing that Joe ran into was a hint guide that said, I think it was like a container at the top, but it was written backwards. Like physically written backwards. Like you would have to hold up a mirror to the screen or know how to read backwards. So he's like, oh, so the readings just okay, I get it. So he understood the mechanic.
They're literally
reversed. So he thought. Because he went up there and it was up there. He's like, oh, okay, so I just got to read it back. But then he got a hint that was normal. And he goes, Oh, it's also at the top? Cool, I'm already up here. My man's flew around for about 6-7 minutes. And me and Sora are just laughing, bro. We're cackling at this point, watching this man do donuts around the arc. And he's like, it said it was up here and I don't have a single signal. So then my man got stuck on Gravity Planet like 3 times looking for this damn thing. He's like, well, where is it? Then he said, it says the highest place. What if I told you when it said opposite, it also meant? And then Joe was like, don't even fucking finish that statement. You're kidding. Why does that mean 2 things? Why does that mean 2 things?
I'm pretty sure the response was just like, fuck you.
The way it's phrased. It sounds like it's talking about like the readings on the radar, like when it starts beeping, which makes no fucking sense. Like I don't know how you'd be able to find the shard from it beeping when you get further, like beeping faster when you get further away.
That's not a clue, my friend. That's a riddle.
Exactly. Exactly, because the other interpretation, and it wasn't until Joe said his interpretation of that, I didn't even think about this one, Cardis. Did you?
What?
His interpretation was, when the radar says you're red hot, you're actually ice cold. He thought it meant the radar readings were reversed. He thought the gimmick of the stage was something completely different that I didn't even think about.
Terrible wording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that level was annoying for many different reasons.
So that whole thing was a debacle.
Like that's why when I got to the top and the fucking radar wasn't going off, I'm like, okay, I guess that means that I'm in the right spot then. Like I don't know how this works. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Because they just kind of throw that curveball to you.
Then the recognition comes.
And then pain.
And then flying all the way back down to the bottom of the stage.
And then the very next Emerald Shard was at the top of the stage, and you're just like, I hate it here, man.
It's so annoying to fucking go all the way up. At least in Knuckles, you can just take a few rockets and you're fucking there.
But in SA2, at least we can appreciate the voice acting, I suppose. The story,
I mean,
maybe?
the voice acting was kind of
The acting got better.
The voice acting was better, but I feel like
I don't specifically mean like it got competently better. I just mean it's still as enjoyable, like as goofy as SA1 maybe, or you know,
But
it's still fun.
But I feel like the game itself was just, you know, besides a handful of Sonic stages, a step down in almost every way.
Yes.
And then some people would make the argument. Oh, go ahead, Lumen.
No, sorry. Not as good as we remember.
No.
I mean, I never remembered it as good. I was the only one. I was fighting the good fight.
Remember, I didn't like it either.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, I got some enjoyment out of it, but I thought like overall it was a big step down.
We should have listened.
Can I speak about the best moment of SA2?
Go for it.
The reason why my icon is this picture of Tails.
You thought you could trick me with that fake emerald?
Getting fucking punked.
How'd you know it was fake? Because you just told me.
Fuck boy. Like that's like the only moment in the game where I feel like I'm laughing with Sonic Adventure 2. Like it told a legitimately good joke and I'm laughing at the punchline. I'm laughing uproariously.
That
shit killed me.
Well, because the funny thing is, right? Like earlier in that very same story, there's a part where Eggman's looking at a monitor and he's like, "What? 2 Chaos Emerald signatures? Ain't no, he caught them in 8K.
He knows it's fake. He just wants to fuck with Tails.
Yeah, it makes it even better. And just the look on Tails' face, just priceless.
Like
fucking chef's kiss, priceless.
Oh,
like my man grew up That he learned a thing or two.
But ultimately, another thing that I like, as we said, Sonic Adventures bosses were, for the most part, big nothing burgers, especially when it came to the character fights. But in this game, they just felt like they were just absolutely busy work. Especially when it comes to Eggman, because the Eggman and Tails boss fights, most of the time, you're not even hitting them with the shot. You're hitting them with that initial little bazooka cannon on the right side of your gunman.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Vulcan Cannon.
Which they spelled
That
wrong,
they
by
can't
the
fucking
way.
spell correctly. God
But-
damn it.
But yeah, you're mainly just like mashing the B button in their general direction and calling it a day. And occasionally you're too close and you get the hoy! You get the boxing glove or the propeller punch.
What about the best boss fight? You know the one, Frosty.
The ultimate life form.
Look.
Well, there is that one, but
I was gonna say, which one are we talking about? Because if we're talking about that one, I'm ready.
no, not yet. Just Knuckles.
Okay, so the Knuckles and Rouge boss fight is just, it's a bunch of nothing happening, and then eventually you hear a bunch of climbing noises, and then they just start spamming cutscene supers at you for the entirety of the rest of the fight.
Oh, I was alluding to the fucking ghost bitch.
Oh, King Boom
That
Boom.
fight is stupid.
Is it bad that I forgot that boss even existed?
That's such a bad fight. I want to
Tried-
forget now again.
Yeah, it seems Frosty wanted to forget too.
Apparently.
Repress King Boom Boo.
I mean, was there any memorable boss fight in Adventure 2?
Oh god. I
Shadow?
don't think there is.
Like what?
No.
Shadow versus Sonic 2? Maybe.
What? Because he says I'm the coolest.
I mean, it's
guess.
something. It's something.
Those fights are nothing. You just spam the fucking attack button.
No,
over and
yeah,
over.
like no, gameplay wise, they're nothing. But I remember, I just that's the only boss I remember is
Yeah.
fighting Shadow.
I guess.
Like,
I also the
I
end fight
remember-
with Sonic and Shadow, like at the end.
I remember the ultimate life form because I remember the fucking songs, but that's like
Yeah,
that's the best part of those fights. Otherwise, they're just total ass.
yeah.
Now, from a lore perspective, I just got to ask you guys. So I want to know how Shadow the Hedgehog is a hedgehog, and that's the middle step to pretty much handy-capable lizard that has like COVID-19 because it takes 10 steps, it gets out of breath, and needs like a breathing pack on its back to respirate it.
There's just so many stupid things in SA2. You like feel like you're always forgetting something to talk about.
You're rediscovering constantly with SA2. It's like, oh yeah.
Just
We also need to have a serious conversation about the narrative. Like we already talked about, it was very disconnected, but the fact they would have a typewriter, a location, it also seemed like one of the end of those Keenan and Kel episodes where replace Keenan with Sonic and Kel with Tails, and then all of a sudden it would just be, Tails, I need you to meet me in the Bermuda Triangle with a NASA spaceship, in the pyramids, in the oasis. Holla if you hear me. And then Sonic just takes off and Tails goes, Sonic, where am I gonna get a pyramid? A space station? Where are we? Emeralds? Huh? When do we get those? Oh, here it goes. And the next thing you know, you're doing Pyramid Cave.
Yeah.
the story starts off in like the stupidest possible way too, because you've got the game just starts out by gaslighting you, and everybody's just like, "Oh shit, that's Sonic," and you're just like, "That's not fucking Sonic. He doesn't look anything like him. What are you guys all blind? What are you, colorblind?"
This goes back to my first point. They did more to capture Sonic than they ever did to capture Eggman.
Oh wow.
Racism.
Hey, Eggman was cashing that white privilege in the bank, baby.
Like Sonic had reports, like, but hasn't Sonic saved us like 50 times? Yeah, but he did this one bad thing now, so we gotta do something about it.
Even as a child, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Are you blind?
Yep.
It's
I
just so bizarre. Just like the game really expects you to take it seriously.
I mean, and if you want to be nitpicky, I mean, you can look at City Escape. So my man gave himself up to police, and he said, "All right, I'm bored. I'm leaving." Then he gets caught again. And he just goes, "You know what? I think I'm gonna stick with this getting caught thing." And it's like, hello.
guess he really didn't want to resist arrest?
Again?
Not even airline
No?
food. Or some crap.
I mean, did he expect someone to save him? Was that the whole plan? It's like, don't worry, one of my friends will save me. I have plenty of those.
I just find it funny that after, like, when you're on Mission Street, Tails also has a bounty on him, and I'm like, what did he do?
I mean, to be
He's a
fair,
child.
he is trouncing around on a giant mech. Well, not giant mech.
Blown up
I
like
mean,
gun
yeah,
mechs.
but you gotta remember, that was his first stage. He hadn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
Guilty by association.
Actually,
Yep.
I'm gonna have to skip a little head. It's kind of funny, in the whole thing in Adventure 2 is like, oh yeah, sure, go break the gun robots, it's fine. They're attacking you. While, you go look in Shadow, the whole, morality system is like, no man, don't break gun mechs. That's not cool. They're the good guys.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I want to know, right? Here's the thing I don't want to know. I know they probably didn't have enough time to make different factions worth of robots.
Uh-huh.
But it's always weird when you see all these gun robots inside the space colony arc. Now, granted, we know Gun is up there. We know they did that. We know they worked with Gerald. So this isn't anything that's too shocking. But at the same time, the gun robots we have on Earth are made of the same technology, and I'm just like, so 50 years and y'all still rocking the same mechanical spec? Did y'all not know these things were up here?
If it ain't broke, don't
Or
fix
did you
it.
ship new ones up there just in case? It's like, huh?
It's like, is it like a trade federation trade route up here? We don't know about.
It's like, just in case something happens, we better put some robots up here.
Yeah, because this is like, it's an abandoned facility. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you guys know what abandoned means, guys.
Also, we're gonna shoot up a child.
Also, is Eggman's base built under a gun facility? Because, like, when you go to Sand Ocean, there's just gun robots and gun, like, flags. They have flags. I don't know why you're putting flags here, but Gun has flags.
I mean, maybe they were looking for Eggman. I don't know.
So they just started putting. So they just started playing capture the flag on top of his base.
Like, right, this is probably where Eggman is. Claiming that. That's ours now. FBI. This is ours now.
Or did Eggman build his secret base underneath a gun facility?
Bold to do that.
I mean, Chad moved.
Hiding in plain sight.
So is the NASA ship Gun's NASA ship, or is it his?
Why does he just have a NASA shuttle? God damn it, this stupid shit never ends.
And it's also weird because he has a teleporter, and it's like, wait.
Why don't you just use that?
It's really... They basically did the Shonen thing. It's like, we really just need to amp up all the stakes. Doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. It just needs to look cool.
Oh yeah, the problem with this whole story is it was written without any thought for how characters get there, their motivations, or anything. Knuckles is just there with the Master Emerald because Robotnik takes it because he breaks it because every single fucking thing.
What are you talking about? Sorry, they got there by typewriter click.
I think the only time I knew what was going on in the hero story was when they were trying to find out where Eggman was, and it's like, you know where he is! He just shot a fucking laser from it! You know where he is! What do you mean?
But we need the president involved. We need Sonic to meet the president.
It's like, what is he gonna do, man? What is he gonna do?
That way you can look at a picture and shout the hedgehog and reminisce.
Oh,
I know
my
Shadow.
goodness.
We mistook him for Sonic. And
Also, the president's Secret Service is terrible because Sonic and Tails jumped through that man's limousine with no problem, and then immediately started stealing files. And I was like,
Yep.
I was like, this is a national security risk right here. Wait a minute.
Actually,
it was. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's his fault. It's the president's fault for driving a limousine on a race course track. All right, a go-kart race course track. He should have done
this.
Like one. The main, I think the biggest problem though, it's like, assuming Eggman wasn't bluffing and he destroys the Earth, the fuck he's gonna do? Just stay in space until he dies all alone?
I mean, look.
Is that the plan?
I mean, look. You've seen Eggman be able to just build robots willy-nilly. Like, where does he get his resources or his funds or whatever? He can just do stuff. Like, this man he can blow up the world and rebuild, build the Eggman Empire from the ashes. I believe it. He could just do it.
That motherfucker built a space elevator in colors. How does that work?
Science, very carefully, Sora. Very carefully.
In all theory, they invited all the quote-unquote normal people to come up there and enjoy the facilities, because it was fully furnished and staffed.
Turns
He
out
had
Eggman.
attractions and food and this and that.
He has fleets of, like, battleships.
He has a 3D printer, a really big one.
I mean, I would believe that. That would explain Sonic Heroes. Believe you me.
Wait, so
He was the first man with a 3D printer. Nobody else had one for the longest time. That's how he got away with the shit he did.
So is this like an Orochimaru and Baruto situation where, like, nah, man, Eggman way too strong. We're just gonna leave him alone as long as he doesn't mess with us, and just let Sonic take care of it.
It might have to be like that. Like, well, we tried to get him for decades. Nothing doing. That blue hedgehog, somehow he gets it done in a week and a half. So we just gonna let that solve itself. But yeah, ultimately, Adventure 2, like everything that it does that isn't Sonic stages flops to be either flops or it's mid at best. Speaking of which, that final boss, I'm sorry, all I'm gonna say is this. You have basically a vegetable as a final boss who has asthma, has nubs, can only do 360 0-turn radius turns and wag its tail, and have coughing fits where it shoots shadow balls at you. And that is the state of your penultimate final boss, mate. Then they have an ejaculation session where they're like, and they turn into Supersonic and Super Shadow.
Geo crystals.
The Supersonic and Super Shadow, respectively. Then they go into space. And I kid you not, for those of you, I'm going to put it, it's going to be on the screen. They decided that the best way to raise the stakes was to have the BioLizard open its ass cheeks and shove the giant space colony arc evaporation eviscerator cannon up its ass.
The biggest butt plug known to mankind.
And then it gets an infection due to aforementioned plug of the butt. And now you have to pop the wart infections on its body because it's unstable, because all that energy is going up its rectum. And this is your final boss, and you're gonna play. Let me check my notes here. What am I learning? Because I don't think I'm living. Because I know that. And here's the worst part. Before you say it, Carlos, the worst part, when you beat the final boss, it just falls limp with the harder on inside of its body. Like, hello?
The ultimate life form.
This is your ultimate life form? You going out like this? It goes, roar! And then it just falls limp.
Like, are you sure it's dead?
You sure it didn't just reach peak orgasm? You sure it didn't just pass out?
Also, did Sonic remove the thing? Did he remove it from the arc, given Shadow the Hedgehog? But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, God, yeah, where does it go?
They chaos control it.
Yeah, they chaos control it, and then that's how the Shadow falls to Earth, and who knows? The BioLizard is probably just a mass in space. Know what?
And the way they did that scene in general is really confusing because it looks like they teleport the entire arc and the BioLizard, but apparently it was just the BioLizard.
I'll tell you what happened.
Not the arc.
Sonic, the treacherous little bastard. He used chaos control to teleport himself. He used all the energy to teleport himself back to the arc, and he sent both Shadow and the BioLizard to the Shadow Realm.
That's why he looks back and says, that's why he was a great and noble hedgehog. And it's like, no, he wasn't. He was noble for 3 minutes. And that was just out of necessity and survival.
He's fine with everyone on Earth dying until literally the last hour.
And his real motivation was just like, I remember the person I care about told me to kill everyone. It's like, oh wait, no, she didn't. What?
Oh shit!
I have screwed the pooch on this one, and that's Sonic Adventure 2.
A fever dream.
Now, granted, the next few games, or the next several games, are not going to take nearly as long, but these two games set the foundation for everything that is to come, and therefore they needed their time.
Can I just say, being the foundation to the state of your ports, Sega, the fucking state of them.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking fix it.
I mean, Adventure DX. If you played a vanilla unmodded Adventure DX, that's a tragedy. That's poor form. Adventure 2 Battle on Steam has some issues in and of itself, but once again, the ports and Sonic Team and ports and Sega don't go hand in hand.
Which, Sonic Heroes.
All right, look, Sonic Heroes. This is my demon beast. I hate this game. This is one of those games that makes me want to spit nothing but vitriol and silver-tongued venom at the nearest person. I want to blind you. You've seen Jurassic Park? When that man has the spitter in his car, I want that to be you after I'm done with this segment, because I hate this game. And let me tell you something. I will have nothing but clips running in the background of my very last playthrough of the Sonic story in the background. You see what's going on up there? It's not good. It is not good. None of it's good. No bueno. Matter of fact, we're going to cut for a moment and we're just going to play a couple of clips unedited. There you go.
Sonic, that was a legitimate, whoa!
Oh no, I want this checkpoint. I'm not going up there. What?
Oh.
How? How is that even a thing that's possible?
Jesus. Okay, what? What's happening?
What? You can't, bro. You can't, bro.
What the fuck?
Well then.
You can't, bro. He did exactly what it sounded.
Okay, what? What's happening?
What? You can't, bro. You can't, bro.
What the fuck?
Well then.
You can't, bro. What was
violence.
that? I'm stuck.
Wow!
What?
Where are you? What's happening?
Oh my goodness!
Hey, yo! What just happened, bro? You have to be Rouge!
Sonic just really wanted to give an extra fuck you to Rouge, I guess. Make sure she's dead. Double tap. Jeez.
All right, now that we're back, all I want to say is this. I hate this game because, for one, from a narrative point of view, it doesn't work.
What narrative?
It doesn't make any sense. It's just a bunch of characters running towards some objective because they think Eggman is out there somewhere in the zeitgeist of the Sonic world. And then you realize something. After you beat the first story, you realize, all right, well, the bosses weren't really that great. The stages were kind of long, and some of them, and by some, I mean like 85% of them just overstayed their welcome. But ultimately, all right, that's fine. Then you boot up the next story, whether it be Team Dark, Team Rose, or Team Chaotix, and then you realize something. Oh my God, we're doing the exact same stages in the exact same order with little modifications, little variances here and there, whether it makes the things a little bit easier or a little bit more difficult. You be the judge of that, but ultimately it's the same stages in the same order with the exact same gimmicks, barring Team Chaotix, but we'll get to that one in a second. And when you get to the boss fights, they're all the same, or they're fighting an other team, but since all the teams are basically mirrors of each other in terms of what they're able to do outside of the power characters having slightly different modifications on their moves, it's the same fights over and over again, making the game that was already tedious for one playthrough tedious for at least two more playthroughs. And I say only two because Team Chaotix shows up And all of a sudden, they said, you want us to make the game even more tedious? You thought we couldn't do it. You thought we didn't have the sauce for that, big man. But we got the sauce for that, and we have it in spades, because then they say, blow out torches. Because now you're an errand boy for what you perceive to be Eggman. But they don't even know it's Eggman. They just think it's some mystery benefactor, in which they're now doing chores like collecting hermit crabs on the seashore, blowing out torches in a haunted mansion.
And you better hope to God you don't miss any, because you don't get warps like in Shadow.
Well, you
Ooh,
do.
boy.
You do.
Oh, you do? Okay, I'm fucking misremembering.
Those those checkpoints double as teleporters. They do that. But here's the problem, right? You have no idea where you would have, like, for example, when you got to blow up the torches, if you miss one, there's not like a hint system where it's like one is pulsating. You have to go through the entire stage again. And I know somewhere, some developer thought, oh, this is big brain. We're going to let them go checkpoint to checkpoint. And now it feels like it's almost faster to just go to the beginning of the stage and just play it all the way through, instead of picking a checkpoint, looking around, picking a checkpoint, looking around, picking a checkpoint, looking around, picking a checkpoint, looking around. And it does inflate. Yeah, there's that word again. Inflate a lot of the playtime of this game. And yes, I used inflate in a Sonic video, and I feel terrible about it because I already know that some of you social degenerates and you knuckle dragging Neanderthals, yes, I'm kink shaming you, are going to be talking about a very specific thing online, and we're not talking about it. I'm already upset and appalled and just annoyed that I had to address it in this way. Address it at all, mind you. But anyways, we're getting off track. Heroes is gutter trash. I fall through the floor. I fall through rails. The homing tag is just a suggestion. It's not real. It just decides it's going to work until it doesn't. And then, once again, from a narrative perspective, there's a specific boss fight within the confines of the game called the Egg Albatross. And let me tell you something, folks. I hate this game so much that when I saw that this narrative exchange takes place between Metal Sonic and all four teams, I literally just put my headphones down and I walked away. I just walked away because my blood pressure was going up. Because you mean to tell me that Metal Sonic decided he was going to build a fake Eggman, get inside the fake Eggman that was going to get inside of a giant blimp that was going to be encased around a defeated boss from earlier in the game called the Egg Hawk. And then you were going to blow up the Egg Hawk, blow up the blimp, blow up the Eggman robot, and then Metal Sonic is going to come out of the robot and copy lifeform data. Then he goes back into the Eggman robot, then he rebuilds everything, and then he's like, all right, bring the Egg Fleet around one more lap. Bring them around one more time.
Do it again, boys.
Let's do it again from the top. Then Team Shadow pops up, and they're like, hey, you, brother, we're going to beat you up. Then they blow up the blimp and the Egg Hawk and the Eggman robot. Then Metal Sonic's like, yeah, boy. Ultimate lifeform data copied. Then he goes back into the... Like, you see the problem how he does this 4 times? Like, it's just weird to me. Also, when you think about it, and you really break it down, because spoiler alert, when you find out the benefactor that Team Chaotix is following is Eggman, you got to understand, how does Eggman know about the parts he wasn't there for? Because if that man's locked in the tower, like, Team Chaotix should just have different stages. That is a how do you know about the parts you weren't there for subset of moves. I hate this game. I hate it. I despise it. I loathe it. Its gameplay is significantly worse than Adventure 2.
Frosty. It's an underrated masterpiece. You just don't understand it.
Oh, all of you people who say that stuff on Twitter, like, you're capping, and I'm just muting you. I don't even want you to speak in the same zeitgeist as me. I don't even want your opinions contaminating the timeline, because y'all say things because you have fingers. And sometimes I don't think y'all deserve hands.
Okay.
Unless it's somebody putting them on you. But that's a...
So I would like to ask, can you say anything good about Heroes? Is there anything you can say, I enjoy at least this one tiny thing?
Yeah, when I close the application. When I open the GameCube and switch to another game. Because, by the way, we played the GameCube version. We don't even want to talk about the vaporware that I'm convinced doesn't exist anymore, called the PC version of Heroes, which was a thing, but it was such a terrible port, it doesn't exist. You have to go to abandonware websites to find it.
Yeah, because it wasn't on Steam. You had to buy that from a box. at a
It
store.
was that bad of a port
Guilty.
that not even they can fix it. Because they don't want it. They want the world to forget, but I will always remember because that was my first experience with it. I also have a GameCube copy because somebody bought it for me for Christmas. So I had 2 copies of the game. And boy, if I would have played the GameCube version, you know what? My experience would have still been terrible. But it would not have been this terrorist attack in my own house.
Actually, I guess one tiny thing to comment. Yeah, this was the first Sonic game on multi-platform because Sega consoles died. Yay!
Yay.
To Lumen's dismay.
Look, I have long accepted that Sega was never really good. They just got lucky.
They got lucky a few times, jumped through a few hoops, you know.
They made
Business.
some good stuff. Yeah, they made some good stuff in the day, but they have always been terrible with money. They have always been terrible.
So Sonic Heroes the true beginning of the end?
I mean, it might be, but
Because I guess there's a difference. Even if we don't like Adventure 2, there's a lot of people who do. So I feel like
You can have fun with Adventure 2. I'll still say that. It's bullshit and it's stupid, but once you understand it, there's some fun to be had. I never want to play Heroes again.
Heroes is a sticky experience. It's not very...
One small thing that we didn't mention about Adventure 2, and it was part of Joe's downfall and his descent into madness. The final stage, he got lucky. Because there was 2 people in here who saved him by saying, hey, man, just go into aquatic mine, go into this chamber right here, get this thing called the air necklace. Thank us later. Thank us later.
Yeah.
There was a chance I would have found it.
But had Lumen and Sora not said that, or if he had gotten a seed where the emerald doesn't appear in that area, and then he got there, man, he would still be playing that game to this day, or he'd be dead. Those are only 2 options he has.
That final stage sucks.
I forgot just how brutal it was.
At least in SA1, it's just to talk to some people and then Supersonic, go. There's none of this fucking horse stick.
And I think my favorite thing was just like how the mechanics in that game kind of do not prepare you for that at all. Especially when Omo Chow, because Omo Chow says the switch is down there, but the first order of operation you have to do is go up.
Like it's just, it's so weird. Like why they decided to just do like a gauntlet of every character. I don't know.
Because it's the penultimate moment.
But here's the thing that's even worse by comparison. Do y'all know how the ending of good old-fashioned Sonic Heroes ends? Do any of y'all recall that?
Yeah.
Sonic Team goes Super Saiyan, Knuckles, and Tails have
Nope.
weird
Nope. That's the ending.
Oh, I don't remember anything else besides that.
Because there's a thing that happens before that I'm not sure if anybody truly remembers.
Wait, in the final story or which one?
I'm just talking about the last story. I'm just talking about the last story as a whole.
Nope.
I mean, they fight the Mel Overlord, all 3 teams, and then they go super, and then they say, whenever you want a rematch, come find me or where the hell he says, and then Amy's go chase him, and then he runs away. Is there something else there?
About how all the teams have to fight him?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is a gauntlet that's acceptable. It makes sense. You know? It's something that, for all intents and purposes, we can all say the gameplay leads up to this. Nothing feels like it's crazy, out of place. It just feels normal.
So is that the good thing about Heroes?
Yeah, that's it. That's all you're getting out of me. That's the nicest thing I can say.
That brings to another interesting point. Like this is the beginning of the soft reboots of Sonic, because this really changes the tone compared to Adventure 2. Like, this is not a dark or grim game at all. Like, even though there's technically quote-unquote stakes, you never really feel it because there's a lack of environment and atmosphere to it to really make you feel like, oh yeah, this is serious.
That's why I joked, like, what narrative? Heroes has no narrative besides Egg being bad. Go get him.
Yeah. because there's really nothing to ground you, because it doesn't feel like a human world anymore. And although, yeah, they have grand metropolis and cities and structures and this and that, like, you don't really know, like, okay, is this a human world? Is this an all animal world? Like, what is this?
Oh, don't be asking questions like that in Sonic games. You should have been talking about that when Sonic Adventure 1 came around. It's like, hang on a minute, Earth, humans,
Earth.
This isn't Mobius.
My man said Earth.
What happened?
And I guess that's also depending on what Sonic media consumed. Like, did you watch the cartoons? Did you read the comics? Did you play the classic games? I didn't really look at any of that other stuff. So when I got to Adventure, I was like, this is fine. This is cool. It's animals in a human world, you know? It's
well, as a kid, like, I did read the comics and I saw the cartoons and I played the original games, but even when I got to Adventure, it didn't really click. Like, hang on a minute, this isn't Mobius. I mean, that might have just been me because I'm an idiot, but you know.
Because you want to know what makes me even more upset about how much of a hack job Heroes is? Do y'all remember the final boss of that game? Y'all remember, you know, Metal Sonic becomes Metal Overlord or Metal Matt? I forget which order it was. But then he turns into a giant flying thing, and there's a whole bunch of set pieces, and you fly at him with your superpowers, and you know he's chucking things at you, and blah 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 blah. So we all agree that's just Mundus from Devil May Cry, right? They stole the fight. They stole the fight. And it bothers me to this day that no one talks about that. Look on screen. Look on screen. They're side by side. You cannot deny it anymore. And not only did they copy the homework, they got the answer wrong too. Because the boss is not as fun.
Oh man, I wonder what would happen if. I mean, it'd probably be bad. That's the answer. It would be bad. It's Sonic Team. It'd be bad. But I wonder what would happen if you made a DMC character action game out of Sonic.
What are you talking about? We got that. It was called Sonic Forces. What are you doing, bro?
You got.
We know exactly how that would play out. And if you don't believe me, you also have Sonic Unleashed Werehog stages. So don't act like you don't
those
know.
Are God of War.
Okay, I was about to say, like, Sonic Forces. Actually, that's just Sonic Generations 2, but don't tell anybody. But I guess I could believe you with Unleashed for that.
But
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Leaving Heroes. Oh, go ahead, Cottis.
I was gonna say, yeah, Heroes was the game.
Heroes bad.
Yeah,
and you know what's actually just going forward though with it, it's like it's kind of funny how much later Sonic stuff keeps trying to refer back to Heroes despite it not being well liked. Like they keep bringing back Seaside Hill and kind of the stuff that was like introduced in Heroes. Like the Egg Pawns became like the de facto like Sonic Eggman robots for like a while. Like that really inspired lots of later stuff. Like, yeah, Generations brought back Seaside Hill, and they put Seaside Hill in some of the other Sonic stuff. And it's like, yeah, man, you remember Egg Cons? Remember Seaside Hill? And it's like, yes, but we don't want that.
Why?
We can't get it anyway.
Yeah, it's literally Sega and Sonic Team telling us, hold this L, fam, forever.
It's like, can't you give us like Egg Robos and like other things we like from classic games?
No.
Which that's a whole other mess in itself. But yeah, let's not get too ahead of that. We need
to talk about black exploitation.
Are we ready
for
my Frosky's dissertation on Shadow the Hedgehog?
Do we need to word it like that? Because I was about to say it's my guilty pleasure. Black exploitation is my guilty pleasure.
So for those of you who don't know and have never heard me regale this tale, you need to understand and take a listen to understand the cultural appropriation that Sonic Team has been able to craft around the Sonic IP. Now, I know some of y'all are saying that's a little bit of hyperbole and that's a little bit too much. You're just adding, 100 on 10. But believe me when I tell you, this game is the most exploited thing I've seen about black people in the history of video games. The first and potentially only blaxploitation game under God's green earth. Anywho, let's talk about it. This is a game that starts off with the very first cutscene showcasing Shadow the Hedgehog having a newspaper slam against his leg that basically says some crazy stuff went down 50 years ago. And he remembers what happened 50 years ago in a game that came out in 2005, which puts the game in around a dating space of 1955, which is before civil rights were a thing. And since this is in America, because they have the president and all that things, let's just say people who were melanated were not treated with such great care at that time. And let's just be honest, as you've heard many criminal cases out there in the world during that time, they weren't even into interracial friendships, much less relationships. But we'll get to that in a second, because you got to remember, his opening act, the opening salvo, is him saying that gruesome image, and it's him and his white girl running away from the cops, in which they are like, you get away from that dark person right now. So much so that even though Maria had that white privilege in the blank, blonde-haired, blue eyes, under the age of 14, had all of her innocence and her whole life ahead of her, but because she was friends with a black hedgehog, they shot her. No questions asked. She died. GG's. No response. It's over. Now, you may be saying, all right, I guess I could kind of see that, but that's just one thing, right? Oh, my naive summer child. This is the first character that we know of that had two dads that didn't want to take care of him. Because you got to remember, he was made by Gerald and Black Doom.
Retcon man.
Black Doom. Did you hear what I said? Black Doom. It's in the nomenclature, SpongeBob. And not only is he Black Doom, his final evolutionary form is Black Devil Doom. And keep in mind, when you first meet him, he pulls up in a daishiki with gold chains. and you're gonna.
I was gonna say, don't forget, he flies around with the Black Comet. His army is the Black Arms.
And the worst part about it. They're not even black. We did the color grading. They are gray, red, and the bats have this blue and orange, like oily pattern on their back. And in comparison to Shadow, they are gray at best. So they know what black is. However, Sonic the Hedgehog goes even further to put 100 on 10 on this racism Sunday, because he treats Shadow like, oh, don't worry, Shadow. I know you're one of the good ones. You wouldn't do me like that. But them, we got to get those black creatures, and every single gun soldier in the game goes, you and those. And I don't know if it was the voice actors cueing and doing this, or if it was the director who wanted this, but when they say black, they put an emphasis on black. Like, they know what they want you to know. They're not the red creatures. They're not the gray creatures. They're not the oily creatures. They're the you and those. It's like the voice actor looks left and right before he says the word black creatures.
Are you sure I could say this? You know, I thought this game was for kids.
Like, did Sega just think, oh, we can't call them aliens. That's too cliche. we gotta be different.
You could have called them invaders. Like, maybe because we're in America, calling them aliens would have been seen as racist in and of itself, but it would have been much better than black creatures.
Oh, come on. We were all about that back in 2005. What are you talking about?
I guess it works for the
Took
time.
our jibs.
Because you want to know something that's relatively sad?
What?
Like, relatively sad about all this. So I know some of y'all may not have understood or may not even get this. And I know a lot of y'all talk about, oh yeah, but you don't bring race into this. But you gotta remember, this game came out in what, 2005, right?
Yep.
You wanna know who died in 2005? Rosa Parks. We were not that far removed, folks. Rosa Parks was alive when this game came out. We were not that far removed. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Look it up. Look it up. She died in 2005. I'm not capping. Look it up. We were not that far removed from the dark times, so don't say that I'm crazy. Don't say that I'm crazy.
Barely 2 weeks before it came out.
Yeah, so don't act like I'm making this up, like I'm reading too deep. We were not that far removed from the problems, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to discredit me. I've done the research. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, many of you may know, what do they call, that there's no way this is a coincidence. There's too many things that line up here. What do you know about when they talk about those aforementioned interracial relationships? Now, a lot of people would say that if you look at various different social gatherings, they would call that some people who have sexual partners who they're in a monogamous relationship with, when they cheat on someone with a black man, they are known as bulls. You know, it's a whole breeding kink. It's really weird. And pretty much the word you may all be associating with this are the cucks that go along with this.
Yep.
Now, would anyone like to tell me what the first boss of Shadow the Hedgehog's name is?
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
What?
I have no idea.
Let me say earlier while he was talking. Guess no one's paying attention.
Nope.
Sorry, man. I was on a roll, man. It's tough. It's tough to get a word in on me. When I'm on a roll, please get out of the way. I will roll you over. Would anyone like to take a guess at the
It's
at
the
the
Black
first boss?
Bull.
Yeah. I'm not making that up either.
And Black Doom summons him to do his dirty work.
My God.
And you want to know what the Black Bull looks like? A big,
Doesn't look like a bull.
girthy penis.
That's also an alien.
But he's also a black creature, so it's fine.
It's also one-eyed.
Yeah. Like, what, I'm not making this up. This game happened. When you did things to help the black creatures, you were evil. When you killed the black things, you were good. And working with the police.
Telling me the one time Sega and Sonic Team were paying attention and really concentrating on making their game, it was when there was blaxploitation.
Yes. Now I want to thank each and every one of you of coming to my TED Talk. And I appreciate all of you for taking the time to listen to the good word. We're not going to give Shadow the Hedgehog the benefit of the doubt and giving it an actual review. It's only on the list so we can say this. This was it.
That's done. We're done.
It's the dirge of Cerberus of Sonic games.
Oh fuck, you're so right.
And I've beaten both of those games.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Of course. I don't know if I'd call Dirge of Cerberus a guilty pleasure, but Shadow the Hedgehog, definitely a guilty pleasure. You know what's weird? Besides everything else.
Now, the next few games we're going to machine gun through because 06, we don't need to say anything that y'all don't already know because there's nothing left to say that y'all don't already know. It was bad. It was terrible. It was an overambitious project that they were not equipped to handle, and especially on the development timetable that they were dealt, there was no way that was happening. You got what you got. You hated it. Everyone hated it. It's a meme. It's in its place in history forever. If anybody wants to say anything now, go for it. Otherwise, forever hold your peace.
Makes for a good drinking game.
It looked pretty cool for 2006.
I mean, it looked cool
cutscenes
until you got.
Oh, Silver gets kicked in the back of the head by Shadow. There, that's the good thing about 06.
Look. The only good thing that I have for it is this. I'm convinced that in that game, Blaze is nothing more than an imaginary friend for Silver. Because to my knowledge, I don't think there's a single character that has a line of spoken dialogue with Blaze in which the character acknowledges Blaze's existence and or presence. Now, if anybody wants to challenge me on that, leave it in the comment section below. But I'm pretty sure Blaze the Cat is a fever dream CTE imaginary friend Maybe Blaze is a manifestation of when he got kicked in the back of the head.
Blaze was established in Sonic Rush, the portable game, and even the histories are kind of contradictory. I know they kind of try to say, like, well, this is how she ends up in the soul dimension. It's like, but does she, though? It's like, it's really... Because, the soul dimension, Soul Liana, the soul emeralds, it's like, you get it now? It's like, actually, no, I don't, because you're not explaining this properly. And it didn't make any sense considering Rush came out before. It's like, so 06 is a prequel, but also retcons itself. So Rush still happened, but I guess it happened differently, or it never happened, and it always happened. Time travel is... time travel.
It's almost like it's a crock of shit, Sega.
It's funny how that game retcons itself into never happening.
So it's like, you can't say it explains Blaze's story because it doesn't, because it retcons itself.
And then moving past that, you got Sonic and the Black Rings. I mean,
Sonic and the Secret Knight. Ah, damn it.
The storybook series.
It's the storybook series, which was 2 games that were basically, would you like to play Sonic on rails? Oh boy, you would? Oh, well, you're gonna love this. And ultimately, those games consisted of just do some busy work, get some more missions, do some more busy work, get your progression item, get upgrades. But when it comes to Secret Rings specifically, that game controlled like shit. Like, I don't know who allowed that to pop out in a release state in any way, shape, or form. And I know they try to hide behind the fact that they put upgrade items of, you can now control Sonic as whole with any degree of sort of preserving your sanity, but now you can as upgrades. Couple of upgrades, mind you. And they thought that somehow was going to be an excuse for having the game play like absolute or whatever other egregious sound.
The game as it was on the Wii.
Oh, I told you. Well, I didn't get a chance to tell you. I told Sora today that I finally opened up that unopened copy of Sonic and the Secret Rings and hooked up my Wii and played it yesterday.
So now you have played it.
Yeah, I didn't play it all. I played about the first couple hours, and I was like, nah, I will never boot this up again. I'm good.
I played it in its entirety.
I'm sorry. I could not stomach that game. I played a bit, and I was like, nah. I downloaded a save file just so I could play the ending. That was it. I could not stomach being that game. Like, it was awful. The only things that carry that game, keyword, I have to put this quotes, carry that game, are its music and decent story. Or amusing story. I don't know if I can say decent. The story is amusing.
The story had an interesting level of presentation. That's about all I'm going to say for that.
Yeah, like I said, I can't say it's a decent story. I say it's an amusing story. It's presented well. It's different because they're not afraid of what about Sonic lore? Like, what Sonic lore? We're just stealing the Arabian Nights. It's like, okay.
And the other thing,
the Disney thing.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think is really weird is just how the fact you have progression items locked behind random missions, but you have no hint to which missions progress the story. So you're kind of just playing missions at random and hoping you're hitting the progression ones. And the fact that they don't tell you which ones are the progression ones in advance get kind of annoying. So once again, padding the game. Sonic Team and Sega as a whole are masters of that. But here we are, even in the storybook games. Then Black Knight, every complaint that you have about Secret Rings somewhat translates over. But now when it comes to the gameplay, you don't even really have to pay attention to that because now that the sword is there, you can jump in the air, waggle, do your buzzsaw spin attack, and 90% of the enemies are just taken care of off that.
Yeah, the game is a super waggle fest. I mean, at least it feels like a game. There's actually a game I can play here, as opposed to my character runs forward and I could tilt my road and hopefully he goes where I want him to.
I do think it's weird that they have treasure chests in the middle of the level, so you have to slow down and walk up to them to get things.
Yeah.
But, I guess you got to have a gameplay element somewhere. But the fact that, your controls are just basically suggestions to Sonic in these games makes it to a point to where, these things should have probably just been in an arcade somewhere and just locked up as, little arcadey games. But at the end of the day, they did spawn a whole new genre of mobile games called Subway Surfers.
Endless
Good.
runners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the endless running genre.
Thanks for that, Sega.
But yeah, I mean, the same thing applies to Black Knight. You have an amusing story. I think the Black Knight story is probably better than the Secret Ring story, just because of the addition of Knuckles, Blaze, and Shadow as.
I guess.
I think
funnier in that respect.
Yeah, no, I think it makes it a more engaging story. It's still not like a great story, but I mean, it's nice to see the other characters in different roles because they're not just Sonic being Sonic. We're from this world and we're going to act like noble knights.
Seeing Shadow as an edgy knight still with his hover boots, it's just hysterical.
Or Knuckles being like, "My honor, I must commit seppuku." It's like, what? He's like, "Come on, guy." It wasn't seppuku. I forgot what he said.
Is he a knight or a samurai? What are we doing here?
Yeah, he's a knight. Yeah, no, he was ready to go off himself because his honor was like shattered by Sonic defeating him.
Oh no! I am dishonored. I must commit Sudoku.
That's right. Solve that word puzzle. Play some Wordle with us.
Anyway, this game doesn't deserve any more fucking time.
Yeah. We got past it. Like, yeah, music cool, but yeah.
Now we're getting to the first game on the list. Well, actually, no. Technically, we skipped one.
Yeah.
Sonic Unleashed exists.
Well, yeah.
I don't understand why people are suddenly changing their mind about this game. Fucking Werehog sucks. I know you know it sucks. Stop saying it's a good game.
People in their minds, they just remember the Sonic portions of the levels. The Sonic levels, pretty good. The rest of the game is pretty trash. I appreciate they brought back adventure fields. I forgot what they call it. Town stages or something? I forgot exactly. I like that they brought those back because they're pretty cool and there's little stuff you can do, but yeah, the overall package is really annoying because of the addition of Werehog. And a lot of people
you have to metal farm to advance.
Yep.
Exactly, and it's so tedious. And it's like, a lot of people's like, "Oh, you just don't like it because it's Werehog is different. If it was Knuckles, you'd like it." I was like, I don't think it's just because of the character. It's because of, I want to play a Sonic game. A high-speed Sonic game. Not one where I have to go really slowly, break every single box in the area to see if I missed a medal. Because I get to the next part, it's like, oh, you need 50 medals to go to the next stage. You only have 49. Better go play a 10-minute Werehog stage again.
This is the same shit with other people trying to say that it's a good action game. Like, these are just people who have never played any character action game. I fucking love DMC. Werehog is trash. Is garbage. I want to kill myself every time I play Werehog.
Look, I have played knockoff God of Wars. All right, I've played some of them games on on Game Jolt, and somehow those games are still producing more quality hands-on feels in the gameplay department than the Werehog.
You know what? Another beef I have with Werehog, it's like, okay, Sonic and homing attack these things to destroy in one hit, but then Werehog is like doing 10-hit crazy combos to beat one of these guys. Like, what's with this disconnect here? Is the Werehog weak? Do they get stronger at night? It's like, it always bothered me. It's like, I wanted to feel strong. It's like the whole thing, like, oh yeah, the Werehog big and strong, can do things, like, and then you go see the little tiny things, like, nah, man, gotta do some big combos to beat these guys.
Like, just get a different character for those stages.
I have a question.
You have plenty of Sonic characters.
But I have a question. Is it possible for a sound to be so egregious that it's burned into your retinas?
Ridley screaming and fusion.
Okay, notice I said my retinas, not my eardrums. I just want y'all to understand. Like, can a sound be so bad? Because I'm telling you right now, after like the 600th time of hearing
You
I
know what?
forgot about that song.
You know what? When I first heard that theme, I was like, by the end of the first stage of Werehog, I was like, it's a little repetitive. But I bet you each stage is going to have like a unique rendition of the song. No, exact next scene. It doesn't matter where you could be in ancient China level, or you can be in the mountains, or you could be in icy zone. It's the same damn song. It doesn't even match it doesn't even match the theme of the level or the music they're using, and it's like, nah, it's the same jazzy, crazy theme every time.
I really wanted that game when it came out.
Look, man, just feel happy that you didn't get involved, because there were these like little tedious, like little plane sections that you had with Tails, and I mean they were harmless, but I just feel like they were just once again busy work that was just on the pad some of the length of the game. But ultimately, like, did it do anything for anybody?
No. It had cool music.
The Sonic stages were good. This is what started the Boost era.
Technically, that was Rush.
I mean, Rush was,
Rush was the precursor, I guess.
But 3D Boost era.
Yeah, and that defined the next 15 years of Sonic or so.
Christ.
Because from here on out, most games adhere to this.
Oh, it looked really pretty, but it ran like dog shit.
Game looks great. We gotta give credit where credit's due. Like, 06 looked cool for its time, but when they made Unleashed a couple years later, like, that game looked really... It still looks pretty good today.
It still looks amazing today. Back in the day, I was like, holy shit. But it ran like dog shit.
It did. I mean, I guess now you can play on a Series X if you have the patches and stuff in the original disc. Yeah, you can run at 60, and they say, "Oh, it's amazing. I wish I could play like this when it came out." But yeah, now you can at least play at 60. So that's a nice plus right there.
My only question is, I just want to know where these people came from who all of a sudden are talking about how this was like a top two platforming game of all time. Not even just a Sonic game. Like, where were these people? Because they need to be locked right back up in the same insane asylum that they were in for the past 15 years.
The funny thing is, though, although Boost gameplay defined Sonic games to come, they didn't decide to do anything in terms of like hub worlds and things like that, which I thought was a shame. Now, I don't want like busy, tedious mail collecting. That needs to stay out of Sonic. But I really do like to admit, like, okay, if I want to, I could slow it down. I can explore the locales. And the thing is that the stages in Unleashed were pretty small. They really were just hubs as opposed to actual adventure fields. Or the big massive ones they had in 06. Actually, in 06, in comparison, they're very large. And it's like, it's a shame that it's like, yeah, they didn't want to do anything with that afterwards. And it's like, because they can't keep any sort of consistency.
I gotta be honest, I disagree. I hate adventure fields.
I respect your opinion.
They give you no direction on where you're supposed to go. And it's just like, figure it out, dickhead.
And that's why I like it as like an optional thing. Like, if you want, you can go from point A to B. And I believe they should give you that option. But for people who are like, let's slow it down, let's explore the thing, maybe find cool little bonuses or like power-ups, or put in a Chow Garden. Actually, we didn't even touch on Chow Garden this entire thing. I'm actually amazed we didn't.
I was actually saving that for the end.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, we'll say that for then. But yeah, that's sometimes it's nice to slow down, because when you're just going from point A, like level 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, you just blast through the game. I mean, that's why things like Heroes feels a lot shorter than some of the other games, or Adventure 2 especially feels really short.
He said Heroes. I want to hear that again.
Make
sure you said the right game.
Okay. Heroes as a game is not, or each individual story is not particularly long because it's level 1, 2, 3 on the progression. But
I still disagree.
I would disagree with you there.
That long.
Each hero stage took me about 7 to 9 minutes. Multiply
like
that times 14.
Oh, there's 14. God.
So what you're not going to do is tell us that it's short.
I'm not saying the game is like 2 hours long, but I'm not saying it's not like a 20-hour epic either.
It feels like it takes an eternity.
Because, they make you play each stage 4 times.
Yeah, I don't just mean that. It's 7 minutes, but it feels like half an hour for every stage.
I'm curious. I'm actually going to look this up on like how long to beat. Let's compare what they say how long to beat Sonic Heroes versus Adventure 2. Let's see. Let's see. Let's just do main story. Let's assume you don't do anything. So they rank Adventure 2 at 9 hours and Heroes at 11 and a half. So yeah, they would say Heroes is a smidge longer, which there technically is more levels, although they're all exactly the same.
Exactly.
So technically you only have 3 hours of gameplay per story. Like 2 or 3 hours and then repeating it.
I do find it funny though, if you look up on that website for how long to beat. When you're looking at emulated, you're at 9 hours. When you're looking at the GameCube, you're at 11 hours. And when you're looking at PC and PlayStation 2, you're around 12 hours. But if you're on PlayStation 3, welcome to the 16-hour zone, buddy.
Yeah, I wonder how exactly that
How?
Big oof.
calculates.
How?
I don't know if that's a loading thing or what. I'm not sure.
Is it that broken? People have to restart stages that often?
Hey, it could be.
I'm not sure.
5-minute loading times, baby.
Okay.
PS.
Anyway, yeah, let's advance.
Colors.
Oh,
I think it perfected fucking boost formula, and it was a great game. No adventure fields, just stages. Thank God.
Colors is one of the 2 games on this list I have 0 experience in, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Same.
this isn't bad. I mean, it's a short game because there's not that much beyond the main story.
Here's the thing, Cottis. I hate long games. Stop wasting my time.
No, that's the thing. I just want the option. If I want to go from point A to point B and blast through a game in 5-10 hours, great. But if I want to go explore and see shit, I want the option. It's like playing like Fallout or Elder Scrolls. It's like, yeah, you can go blast through the game if you want to, or you could take your time and explore everything and spend like 50, 60, 100 hours.
Look, I understand Sora's contempt for adventure fields, but here's the thing. When we got in Adventure 1, I wanted to see them expand on it and make it better. The problem is they never did that. They never did the second part. They never did the make it better part. They just kept, they in some cases when they added it, they expanded it, but then they start putting metal gates on things. They start putting 06 upgrades behind the shopkeep.
Generations didn't even, or not sure. Unleashed didn't have T-Call, so I couldn't know what the fuck to do.
So it's like, I don't think adventure fields are your problem, because you played through Adventure recently. And granted, while you knew where most of the stuff was, because, you know, you had played it so long ago, but it still maintains a lot of the memories with you, it was not that hard to traverse.
No.
It was not as bad as you made it. I think the other games, Adventure Fields, have just put it in your mind that Adventure Fields, no!
Yes.
Get it away from me!
Because Unleashed Adventure Fields are trash. I fucking hate them.
No, they're not particular. Those aren't particular. Once again, they look pretty, but yeah, those aren't particularly good. But I think luckily, there's typically not as much stuff you need to do in them.
But yeah, now they're just more empty voids that are very vague, and to be honest, would probably be best if they didn't exist.
I mean, yeah, they just need work on like it's there if you want it, but you can easily ignore it, because I think that's the best compromise. Because yeah, especially a lot of people would keep saying, "Oh, well, classic Sonic gameplay back." It's like, yeah, they don't want that. But that's the funny thing. Is like they made Adventure 2 and Heroes for those groups of people, and they're like, well, Adventure 2 worked. Heroes, not so much. And especially Heroes, I'm going back to Heroes, but the whole thing where you had to go find the Chaos Emeralds, like you just didn't get them through the gameplay story. You had to actually find them, at least through the special stages, anyway.
And the special stages were some of the dumbest things of all time, not because of their difficulty. That wasn't the problem. It was just a simple fact that in order to get them, you had to beat Act 2 with a key. But if you ever got hit by anything, any sort of jank, nonsense, it doesn't matter. You get hit, you lose the key.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's real good.
So if you want to know what the strat was, it was just do it through Team Rose. That's the strat.
Also, I'm very curious. I think I already know the answer, but I am curious. Have any of you played Sega Superstars?
I have
The
not.
iToy game.
What
I
the?
have not.
Oh God.
No.
The only reason I bring that up is they use the Sonic Heroes special stages as
See
the
what
Sonic game.
they would bring back random stuff from Heroes that no one asked for.
Even in the iToy game.
But
Yeah. Anyway, colors. I think it's a good game.
I think it's pretty solid.
Wish it was one of the ones I played.
then
There was a
obviously,
remaster, wasn't there?
yeah. And
Limit.
the funny thing about the colors remaster is a lot of people were just dogpiling on the game without ever playing the game and just making a bunch of shit posts about how the game is unplayable, it crashes on startup, it'll brick your console. So yeah, there was a lot of that going around. Cardis was not amused.
They mixed the audio and mono for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird. But regale the people with the lore of the Colors remake. Tell them.
What part?
Tell them how they made it.
Well, I mean, it's not even a port. They literally remade the game from scratch on a completely different engine.
God.
And why they
That's the
have to
thing.
do that?
Well, this is some speculation on my part, but I'm pretty sure it's because they saw Frontiers was not working too well, and they needed more time, so they hit the port another game button. Because it's like, nah, man, we can't release Frontiers this year. Not again. Remember what happened last time we rushed an anniversary game? Looks at 06. So it's like, yeah, this was their best choice, was to re-release an old game. And of course, they couldn't put any of their own resources on it, so they just hired some group to say, yeah, man, can you put this game on modern console? Like, sure. Can we have the source code? No. Oh. So can you get like a license to Unreal or something? No. The wait, how are we gonna do this? You can download something open source, and then they walked away. It's like, oh. Because yeah, the game is built on an open source engine.
Well then.
Because they couldn't get like Unreal or something.
And what was the original's chassis based on?
It was their own special engine. They did not. Apparently, they didn't want to give it to them.
That's tough, buddy.
Or they couldn't give them like the Hedgehog engine or something, what Unleashed enforces. And so they're like, yeah, don't worry, you got it.
Must have been special. Don't want to give away trade secrets to the same games that ran Unleashed.
Yeah, so they end up using the Godot engine, which some people on
Oh, it
LinkedIn
uses
were.
Godot?
Yeah. The game's
Oh,
actually,
shit.
so which means it's actually very moddable. People have done a lot
Yeah.
of random stuff with the game. So, I mean, it's very impressive what they were able to do with the time and resources they were given. And I won't take that away from that. I've heard some bad stories about the company themselves with the way they manage their people, but that's another story. That's another topic of discussion. So, but it's they did the best they could. They had some random stuff here and there, which I guess is cool. I personally have not played the remaster. I didn't really care because, like a lot of people, when they announced it, I was like saying, who was asking for this? I mean, I guess that's cool, but it's like no one was really asking for this. I think they would have been done better to like port Unleashed or something. They
But
could
this
have
is what we
poured
got.
06 and got more interest.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if
mean,
they were remaking it.
There is at least like the fact that Colors wasn't an HD because it was a Wii game. So
Yeah, but I mean,
Just emulate it.
They could only do so much too, though, because it's like they couldn't remake all the assets from scratch. So there's a pretty nice amount of turbo smoothing and AI upscaling done to kind of get into shape.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, because it's like, you definitely can't remake all the assets from scratch. So you have to still use the original assets, but on a completely new engine.
at least it wasn't the worst remaster of last year.
Yeah, I mean they fixed quite a few things, but I don't know if they were
Grand Theft
mixing
Auto.
the mono.
I was about to say, like, I must be forgetting something. And it's like, yep, I blocked it out.
GTA, the definitive edition, the trilogy.
Hysterical subtitle, considering what happened.
But getting back on track, there's another game on this list known as Generations, and honestly, all I'm gonna say is I think it was a good game. I just think it had one of the shittiest final bosses, but
Yes.
Okay, but here's one thing that I didn't like that Generations did. Not because it happened in Generations, but because how it affected all the remaining games. It now created
Every game, yes, every game needs classic Sonic. No, stop it.
Because at first it seemed like they're trying to get at classic Sonic is just Sonic when he was younger. But now it's classic Sonic's from a completely different dimension, and he's an own distinct character. And by the way, he also needs to show up everywhere.
like never forget whose show this really is.
Top of that, I want to say that, and I liked Generations. I did. I want to say that Generations was a right game, right time situation. I want to say that Generations did as well as it did, or as perceived as it was, because the games preceding it were 06, Secret Rings, Unleashed, Black Knight. You know.
And Colors just got people to do like, just when we thought we were down and out, you sucked them back in. So I could see that. And now that brings us to the second game on the list that I have not played, Sonic Lost World. So if y'all want to talk about Sonic versus the Monstars from Space Jam, go for it.
Oh boy, the Sinister Six.
That's a Marvel IP. I'm gonna need you to stop.
Can Sega just stop bringing Zavik into everything? Just let it go.
Like, no one likes those characters.
No one.
What, Discount Bowser?
One.
Bowser? I thought he was Incineroar.
He's discount one of them. Discount Bowser.
Someone is horny for Zavik.
If you only knew. Because the only reason why I even know, I didn't even know Lost World was a game. Like, I honestly thought it was like some promo material for something. I didn't really think about it. I saw like a commercial and just was like, whatever. Moved on with my life. And then like
should have remained lost.
I saw
it doesn't look like Sonic.
And then I saw a Zavik was trending on Twitter. So my curious self clicked on it, and I know more about Zavik's anatomy than I ever wanted. I'll tell you that right now.
Oof.
Boy.
My brain was in shambles at that moment. I know what the inside of the Shadow Realm looks like, folks. And there's no coming back from that. But go on, Lost World, tell us.
It tried to reinvent Sonic with Mario Galaxy paints, and it didn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of those games where they try to do something different because this isn't. It's not really Unleashed gameplay, which is interesting.
It's not like it was terrible, but it was
It's so nothing.
It's so weird because it doesn't have real analog control, because basically you have walking speed. In order to run, you have to press down a button.
Yeah, I enjoyed holding L, was it, for the entirety of the game?
Yeah, something like that.
What is this, Assassin's Creed? Got that parkour button. What was the... I don't remember. I think there was like a second crossover free DLC level that Lost Worlds had. I remember the Zelda one.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember the Zelda one, but I feel like there was a second one. I'm just not remembering. Kirby? No.
There was another one. I can't remember what. Yoshi.
Yeah. But yeah, the Zelda level was the last one I played of Lost Worlds. I never even finished Lost Worlds.
Neither did I.
Couldn't.
I had Lost World on PC, so I didn't have any of the DLC things.
Yeah, they're very short levels. They're very novel. It's like, oh, hey,
Actually,
look.
One funny thing about Lost World is that it basically brought back Mach Speed stages from 06. Because those were basically Mach Speed sections. Yeah. And they were annoying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lost World is an interesting game. Story is very
non-existent.
Just what story
the deadly
and the
sticks,
levels.
pop up out of nowhere, and then they kind of just disappear by the end.
The levels are just kind of like the theming here is like we want to make the most generic platformer we can.
Yep.
No,
Here's
as I went through
Candyland.
as you go through the game, it's kind of like, yeah, this is definitely Mario inspired, because I felt like it went through all the Mario tropes. Like, here's a fiery stage, here's a beach stage, and it's like, yeah, I've seen these before.
Just done better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trouble here. Is like you can be Mario inspired, but please do something good.
No, man. Just new coat of paint on the same turd. New coat of paint, though.
Anyway,
it's fine.
uninteresting game.
Yeah.
I'm here for the real shit. Next one.
Because it brings us to Sonic Metro Boomin, aka Sonic Boom.
It's a lyric on the Wii U.
AKA Sonic on the Crisis Engine on the fucking Wii U.
Ugh.
I feel bad for that team, because they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put it on all the main consoles, we're gonna use Crisis and make it look pretty. It's like, nah, Wii U only, fuckers.
No, they were dealt really bad hands, I feel. I mean, they were industry veterans, and there was high hopes. It's like, oh, they're making a Sonic game. This is going to be great. And it's like, yeah.
Funny that you say that Wii U only, because then later on they were like, oh yeah, sequel for the 3DS.
Which I think was
something.
like better, technically, I guess.
Was it the same kind of game, or was it 2D?
I'm
like on a 2D plane.
I believe they're 2D, yeah.
It's usually what happens on the portables for whatever reason. It's like, okay, we've got the 3D game, we're gonna make it on a 2D plane.
Those are made by a different studio anyway, so
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't even know if you can call them a sequels technically. I mean, they're part of the same series of Sonic Boom. I don't even think there's any narrative sequel to them.
I remember being sort of like ew at first, and like I don't know about this, guys, but I kind of warmed up to it the more I saw it. But then the final product happened.
If it had the writing of the show, then it could have been at least funny.
Right.
Because the show, I've seen clips of it, I actually chuckle at it. It's got some good lines there.
Yeah, like if the game was as self-aware as the show, maybe it would have at least been enjoyable in that aspect.
You know, Amy, when you point out that there's a glass ceiling for women, you sort of undermine your own intentions of breaking said glass ceiling.
Just because he's a meathead doesn't mean he's not a feminist, y'all.
When I call a guy, and people.
Yeah, my man was wilding. He was maulding, bro.
That show had a Chris Chan episode, for God's sake.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yep, they acknowledged him.
Uh-huh. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, go watch Sonic Boom. Don't play the game, please, God.
I mean, in some ways it's more broken than 06, and in some cases that's not somehow
06 is more entertaining
as 06, but it somehow was also more boring.
Yes.
I don't know how you do that, but
I would rather play 06.
But somehow that's where we got, which then brings us to Forces.
Oh my god!
Who wants to take this hot potato?
Another game where when I saw it, like, because they didn't really have that much to go on in the initial trailers. It was just like Eggman wins. You've got to bring, you've got to get the resistance together. It's like, oh shit, are they doing the cartoons? Are they doing something like that? And like I was kind of interested. Yeah, sorry, go on, Joe.
It's the game where Sega finally understands their audience. Sonic Team finally gets it.
Yeah. And then they added later on, I was like, oh wait, you can make your own character. Weird. Didn't expect that, but I'm interested. All right, OCs.
But don't forget, then they were like, by the way, classic Sonic. Why?
Because this game has to be a shitpost, because I lost my goddamn mind when I saw the text, Sonic was then brutally tortured for 6 months. And then it cuts to Sonic. It cuts to Sonic, and he looks like this.
Is that the best you got?
He's just like, meh.
No, he looks like Griffith.
You know, I remember allegedly there was supposed to be more to those scenes, but they took them out because like, yeah, this is getting a little bit too heavy.
Oh, but no, the thing is, it's got... I think the writing tries to go in a serious direction, but it's still got that comedic Sonic delivery. So what is it, like Knuckles or somebody? They're talking about war. What was the line, damn it?
Oh shit, what is the line? Fuck.
War never changes. Oh wait, no, that's Fallout.
Sonic versus Knuckles war.
It's like, of course, such and such character, that's why they call it war.
No, this is good, Vector. That's why it's called war.
Oh, right, yeah. But just imagine, like, Sonic, like, current era Sonic voice actors exactly as they normally would be. Not any serious tone. It's exactly as they are now, but they're trying to deliver lines like that.
I like how they did try to make Knuckles not dumb. Like, he actually really picked things up after Sonic was captured.
And tortured.
So that's nice. And they actually did allow Sonic to escape, I guess. I mean, I think in the end, Sonic just kind of got bored. Like, oh, Adventure 2, just like, okay, I'm just out here.
It did,
and
kinda...
they brought Zavik back again, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, look, remember all these villains, including the villain from Lost World, because reasons.
Because he's a big, strong man. Look at those arms.
Now I have a question. Can you have a class action lawsuit on false advertisement? Because they advertise chaos in the promo material. You actually don't fight him.
I never thought about that.
Oh, wow.
He's actually not a boss. He's just in some cutscenes.
That
Like,
is
hey,
hysterical.
you remember Adventure? Like, Zavik got a boss fight.
And the thing is, don't they have multiple of each of these
Yes.
bosses?
Because
You've got multiple chaos. Like, oh dear. What are you gonna do?
We can't talk about this game, though, without bringing up the edgiest thing this series has ever created. Infinite.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Cardis. There you go. There you go. No, do it. Do the whole chorus. Let him know. He's the what?
No. I'm not doing this now.
Come on.
You know you want to sing it, brother. You know you want to sing it.
No, I'm not doing this. It's tempting, but I'll hold myself. But yes, the song itself is out of the edge. You thought Shadow songs were edgy? Nah, these took it to a whole other level.
It's kind of a little bit crushing realizing that Sonic Forces is just, it was supposed to be Sonic Generations 2. I don't know exactly how true it is that the OC character was just supposed to be Sonic Boom Sonic.
It sounds like it would be plausible, but I don't know.
Like, I am not entirely sure on that, so I can't say, but the idea irks me. Sorry?
I haven't heard it, but I mean, it could be a thing. I know originally they were trying to do some VR stuff, which didn't pan out. Because
which would explain a lot of the set pieces in that game.
Yeah, it would. Like, the game was actually supposed to have a VR component at one point.
Huh.
Because the part with the water slide, there's the whole thing about the augmented reality places that you go to.
God. Fuck that water slide.
So you too have felt its perilous contact. You too know what it means to die.
It felt like I was playing Heroes.
But I have a fun fact about the game. My first playthrough of the game clocked in at 1 hour and 47 minutes, which means I could still return it to Steam. And that was me beating the game. Now, I didn't 100% it. Didn't clear all the collectibles. Didn't care about any of that. But the biggest component that expedited my playthrough was right around the halfway point of the game. I found out that if you get the Electro Whip, you basically just waggle and grind everything to dust.
Yep.
So when it came to the original character Do Not Steal stages, as soon as you got Electro Whip, the stage played itself. And by played itself, I mean like you were zooming through that thing. The whip be whipping. As far
like
as
that game just exists for the fan character creation. The game itself is so much nothing.
You know the thing.
Oh, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, and one of the main issues is that there's a lot of levels in the game, and you would think that's great, lots of levels in a Sonic game. I know we got like what 10? You got 30, but all the levels are like 2 minutes long.
Because the funny thing is, like with most of those levels, like there were a few levels where you felt like right when you were getting there, like okay, I'm getting into the groove or something. There's the gold ring. It's over.
Yep.
Like there was one.
Oh, go ahead.
There was one with a set piece that had like a snake that you went through and all types of nonsense and this corkscrew. And I was like, oh, snap, this level's popping. Oh, it's over.
No, the game had really cool set pieces that got you a little hyped up, but then it's like the stage usually ended like 10 seconds after it. Or happened at the very beginning.
Yeah, we gotta talk about those moments where it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna high five Sonic and go double fast, and then in the background,
Yeah, buddy.
it's just like this is a 13-year-old's dream, but I hate this because it's not good.
Also, the music. The music is
It ruined a lot of the music.
it's iffy, I must say.
But
You know
Lumen,
what?
but Lumen, he's the roughest of waves. Did you know?
And after all this time, you're back for more. So take what's mine and start this war.
Oh my
Speaking of
god.
I gotta post this so Joe can hear the Sonic Forces version of Supporting Me because they fucking ruined the song and I hate it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even remember what this sounds like. I'm afraid to click it. But you know what? For the podcast, I'm gonna let it play in the background a little bit.
Beep, 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 beep. Like, what is that instrument?
Everybody get down on the dance floor. Especially you, Ultimate Lifeform. Yeah.
It's a vibrating violin. Come on, man. Yeah, but I don't like this version. That's kind of ass, bro.
Yeah.
I really want to say that I actually do like some of the Avatar music themes, the vocal ones. Like it was really different. I actually kind of like some of the songs that they put in there. And each one had their own musical style, which was kind of cool. I mean, we got a little bit of that in Generations, and we got this again. Although I feel like definitely some of the instruments they picked for like the classic Sonic like were a little bit weird. I know a lot of people had like a lot of problems like saying like the compositions are bad, but the instruments they picked for like the midis or whatever they used were not great.
Yeah.
And Sonic is pretty the Sonic music's pretty good. I think who did this one? I think this is a Tomoyo Otani one, which I usually really like his music. I think he does a good job. And then yeah, the Avatar had vocal themes, which are really interesting. But when I beat the game, I didn't feel like I beat a game. I didn't feel like I finished anything. I didn't accomplish anything. I mean, Frost, do you remember when I beat the game, like how I felt?
Yeah, you were just like, I don't. What is there
Just
more?
feel empty.
And
Like,
the fact
the
the game wasn't even $60, and I still felt like I got robbed.
Sonic
why I had it
forces
returned.
me to reset the console.
I technically didn't pay any money for my game, so it's like I was disappointed.
But you want to know what's something that's also terrible about it?
What?
I decided that I saw there was this episode Shadow that came with it, and I didn't play it because I thought it was at risk of me going over the 2 hours. Therefore, I could not get my Steam refund.
Yeah, I remember you watched me play through it the next day.
Yeah, because I was like, I would have played it, but like I was getting real close to that mark, so I wanted my money back. So I just didn't play it. And then Carlos was like, oh, I got the game, and I was like, all right, I'll watch you play it.
Actually, you know what's funny? I just pulled up how long to beat, and they clocked Sonic Forces main story in at 4 hours. Like,
Cap.
What?
It's like half that.
Maybe if
at
you're
best.
playing, maybe if you're
Yeah.
playing with your feet.
Like, the only reason it took me about 2 hours is because I spent too long customizing my stupid avatar every time I got new clothes.
Oh, I was default.
Yeah.
I was default man Jensen, bro. I think I had the beat glasses though, so that was cool.
No, the character creator and like there was different like forms as well. You know, you had like the wolf, you had the hedgehog, and the rabbit. I think.
Yep.
I think there's other
But
ones.
can I ask one question though? How come all of like the creative characters and the characters that were like under mind control all look like they were under mind control when they weren't under mind control? Like something about the eyes for those characters was just wrong.
Literal mob characters.
They literally were meant to not be looked at.
I think we need to state, despite how small this game is, that game had like a 3 or 4 year development cycle, which is crazy because Lost World came out in 2013. This game didn't come out till 2017. So we've had a Sonic game in over 4 years now.
Yeah, it lends credence to the fact that this was supposed to be something different, but they just restarted because it wasn't working.
I mean, it's no, and actually, it's when they announced the price of the game, when they came out and said, "Oh yeah, Sonic Forces is $40," this game is trash. They told me everything I need to know about the game when they say it wasn't a $60 game, and I was still disappointed. Like I said, I got to the end and I just kind of sat there, mouth agape, and I was like, "This is the game."
It's like, what a tragedy, dude. What a tragedy. But that's where we are now. So they got another anniversary game coming out, and I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna play it. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna let y'all be the guinea pigs for that one. Y'all can tell me how that rolls. Unless my audience does that thing that they do, where somebody donates $60 and says, "Hey, man, play it for old time's sake," because most of my Sonic experience has been due to financial incentives being met by some of the stream viewers or some people on Rock server. And if Rockaway Carter, if anybody in your server is watching this video, then I want to take this time to say, fuck you.
Damn.
Because I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I'm real tired. I'm real tired of the pain, the suffering, the agony, and the despair that goes along and coincides with knowing the fact that y'all like seeing me suffer through these games. But that's neither here nor there, because the last thing we're going to talk about today is the Chow Garden, and we got to thank Adventure and obviously Adventure 2 for really pushing that gimmick and really making sure that it's a thing that, you know, a lot of people could like, you know, whether you like Chia Pets or Tamagotchis or whatever, you had something that was very interesting, whether you want to race them or Chow Karate or just take care of them, send them to school, get them through college and wait for them to die, blah, 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 blah. Only one problem.
Game.
Only
the blood
one
sport.
Only one problem. It is 2022. Where is it, Sega? Where is the Chow Garden mobile game? Why? That's easy money. That's free money. That is infinite cash. Where is it?
Like, it's shocking that they couldn't have. Like, you know, Nintendo doesn't actually make most of their mobile games. Those are outsourced. Now they're supervised, but they're outsourced. It's like Sega could very easily have outsourced this to some development studio in Japan or even China and have made a mobile game with Cash Shop or Gacha or something.
Monster Rancher exists. Just do that with Chow.
I bet you they won't, though.
Well, they haven't, so they won't. Like that's a pretty good bet right there.
And for whatever reason, like maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels like it would be a very simple thing to do, given Sega's resources and history. I just feel like a Chow Garden game is something they couldn't really fuck up. But at the same time, they might be sitting here talking about they're going to charge you $30 per Chow egg. Then we got to fight them. And as much as I don't want that, look at the sheer joy. This man went through all this pain. I want you to just take a look at Joe going through the Chow Garden.
Gucci Gucci Goo. Gucci Gucci Goo.
So if you have an animal and you walk up to a sleeping... Oh, God, he's choking him.
Finish it.
It's time
Get
to
him.
timer scam.
Eat him. He is your dinner.
Okay, you still win.
No timer scam. Kill him. Oh my God. Yes.
Well,
I raised the killer.
I don't think you fought the killer yet. This motherfucker's name is Happy, bro. Bro, he has a dance, bro. I think your immaculate Cinderella run ends here. I think this man's about to beat you.
Child, if you win this, you are worthy of a name. I'll figure out how to name you. Rip his throat out.
He saw a child named Dinner and said, he's gonna be your dinner. Like the poetry.
Dinner.
He was flexing his verbal chops right there. The vernacular has never been stronger. But ultimately, like, Sonic has ranked from really good game to gigantic nothing burger. Unfortunately, he's been really close to nothing burger for the majority of his career. This man needs to retire. Crash Bandicoot has had a better tenure than he has.
Oh my God.
And that's saying a lot.
Just
Because
I don't
Crash
disagree with
Bandicoot
that.
has been struggling.
I mean, remember, it went from a Sony flagship game to Universal trash to Activision. Let's do something with it, kind of.
God, just briefly touch upon how Crash 4 is amazing.
Right?
Like,
And Crash
I'm not
4,
even a Crash fan, and that game is wow. How has that happened?
And
Sonic
according
will never get that.
and according to
Nope.
rumors, Crash Bandicoot started off as Sonic's ass, the prototype.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's kind of poetic
Already.
that the ass is now in front of the face.
And
And that's Sonic, everyone.
Can't keep up.
Sonic only wants to look at
Just
Sonic's
slow.
ass. So, Cardis, anything you want to take us out on?
We all want to say the next game is the last chance for Sonic, but you'll come back. You always come back. I mean, am I wrong?
Nope, that's where I ended the recording. Right there.